Hey, everybody, and we are live. Welcome to the show. As usual, I'm Game Master Roger. This is my neighborhood. Today, I'm joined by the usual suspects, Jason and Ducato. I know this was last minute change. Don Samora got the flu, and he's recovering, so he couldn't join us tonight. But so we wish him well, and hopefully we'll see him on in a couple weeks. So today we're going to talk about downtime and what PCs shouldn't be doing, I guess, during downtime. Probably along with a slew of other things that don't belong in that category. But Roger needs a theme song. Yeah. I don't. Maybe I considered doing like a clip thing instead of just the countdown. But that's something that I got to work on, or get somebody to do it, for really really cheap, So we'll see. We'll
Thought
see.
about doing that too for my videos. A buddy of mine did one.
Yeah.
He was messing around with it, and I mean, I don't edit any of my videos, which clearly shows. So it's like don't have the first clue on how to add that to the beginning of a video.
Yeah. My excuse is that we just do it live, and then this way I don't have to worry about editing. But
I was just trying to think of some derogatory song that we could use, but I
Yeah.
got nothing.
yeah,
Dirty limerick or something.
Yeah.
well, it's got to be. It's
Something
got to
to
be.
embarrass my wife.
It's got to be something that isn't. It's got to be something that's in the public domain or something new, or so because otherwise, we'll get
Beethoven's
nicked or
Fifth.
whatever.
It's beautiful.
Maybe, yeah, but I don't know if that fits the theme. I don't know. We'll have to maybe remix it.
Okay.
Yeah. Death Angel does the show live too. So, we had a couple comments. There's this. There's the beautiful day in the neighborhood. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how close I can get someone to make that, and maybe in like a rock ballad or something of it. I don't know. We'll have to see. If you know anybody, Edgelord, let me know. Maybe we can get Andrew's band to do it.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Wow.
Yeah. You know a guy in a band, talk to him.
Andrew's band theme song. I wrote it down. Okay.
Now
I'll talk to him. Talk to him later. It must happen. Yeah. Riff off of Mr. Rogers. Yeah. Okay. So that seems to be the going thing. Hey, what's up?
And we have an international audience tonight. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's cool. Well, it seems this Andy character here Uh, I don't know if he's listening now. He says he enjoys listening to us talk each week. And he always has to listen
It's
on catch
midnight
up
there, so
as as your stream. Yeah, we stream late, so that's fine. So Andy, I guess if you're listening to this now or later, whatever, welcome to the show. Thanks for listening.
yeah.
Feel free to drop comments and stuff like this or down below, and we'll try and get to them on future episodes. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, over in the UK, yeah. So cool times. Yeah, international audience. I got to look and see what the. I think YouTube will tell you where everybody's watching from. I just haven't haven't looked at that yet. Yeah, Death Angel, thank you. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. You tell your friends. It's free. All that fun stuff. Thank you, Death Angel, because I'm terrible at saying that. So, but yeah, so we're gonna talk about some downtime stuff. But before that, I actually had some stuff that showed up today on my doorstep, which is
Oh,
crazy. But yeah, I came home and there were 3 packages sitting there. So it's like, oh, how exciting. Plus I got stuff from the other day that came in. So we can talk about some of that stuff. Um, First, we were light on gaming this week. The CNC game, we had a TPK a couple weeks ago, and so this weekend I'm out of town. So we decided to do a one shot. We are talking about Scum and Villainy and the Blades in the Dark stuff. So I ran a one shot with Scum and Villainy here, and it went okay. I mean, the system has some issues and stuff. Um, I thought it was fine. I mean, I thought it was kind of a good time. It's kind of a different approach to RPGs. Um, so yeah. Let's not talk about
Yeah.
that. We won't talk about it. But yeah, it's different. It's obviously it's based on Blades in the Dark, so it's Forged in the Dark, and in space, you're running like heists and stuff, basically. And I thought it went okay. I thought it went well for a one shot. Uh, there's some issues around. I mean, I don't want to, like completely shit on the system or whatever. Um, but the equipment thing, we had discussions about that where because you pick equipment as you need it. That's when you like pick it off, and so there's like some debate on like, well, what if you don't have it and then you have it later, but you wouldn't be able to go through like the metal detector with the stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I think the system's hand wavy and just ignores all that stuff. Um, but yeah, that's basically that. I don't know if you got anything you want to add to that, Jason.
I would not crap on it. Excuse me. I enjoyed it. I had a good time playing the game. Um, I felt that the classes were diverse enough that it felt like I wasn't stepping on someone's toes by doing
Mhm.
something, and vice versa. Uh, the equipment thing was for me that was I was like I I would in fact, I think I said to you I wouldn't say no if somebody said, hey, you want to do a one shot, but I would not go out of my way to play it again. The equipment thing annoyed the snot out of me, man.
Yeah.
I was like, this is lazy and weak right here, and I don't like that. Yeah, and you said that the creator had said he just wants to be able to jump in and go to the action and not read all the planning and all
Yeah.
that. And I like the planning. If I'm doing a heist, for
Sure. Sure.
me, doing the planning is part of the juice of the heist. So I was just like, at one point in the game, we're fighting the bad guys, and I took some damage. I said, well, I'm wearing armor. How does that work? And you said, are you wearing armor? And I said, well, I've got 3 empty squares on my inventory, and armor takes 2, so I guess I'm wearing my armor. And
Yeah.
you said, okay, no problem. Mark here. And I was like, it's that easy. I mean, so okay, but whatever. Um, but despite my thoughts on the inventory, I thought it was great. I had a good time. So cool. It's a win.
Yeah, Paul. The system's definitely like the flashback stuff for equipment and anything else, and it's definitely a system that takes a little bit to get used to. because you have the flashbacks, and there's not a whole lot of planning. It's just the one roll, to just see kind of how you end up, and then uh, there's no really rounds. You're kind of rolling to fill up clocks and all that, and that kind of is a little different than a usual thing, but it's not bad. I think for one shots or a small campaign, it's fine.
Yeah, and I thought the clocks mechanism was pretty good.
Mhm.
I like that. As soon as we touch down, there's a clock, in each every given set of actions is going to fill up a little piece of the pie.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And then I had questions about it. I'm fighting. My guy goes in with a vibroblade, which again, a matter of interpretation. You said it was a sword, and I was like, oh, I was envisioning a dagger because it doesn't have a damage.
Yeah.
And I just go in and start stabbing.
Right.
But I'm fighting 5 guys. If how do I know how many guys that I've taken out? How many are still active?
Yeah,
So
that's
it just it
yeah.
just requires kind of, I don't know, like a steady flow of improvisation.
Yeah.
Is really a lot of what it is, and I'm fine with doing that. It's just a system that I would have to get used to because I'm used to rolling my little math rocks, and that's going to tell me what I've done. It's just a different system, but I don't think
I
it's
like
a bad.
Edgelord. It's a little Bill and Ted with the flashbacks.
I do not like the flashback thing. That was another thing that I talked to Roger about. At one point, we finish the bad guys on the roof, so we go down and we go to open up a door, and it needs a pass key. And Ken said, "Oh, well, I grabbed the pass key off one of the guards we just wiped out." That's cool, except for me. 2 minutes earlier, I had just said, "What of their gear can we take to sell?" So I'm going to start throwing the gear into the ship so that when we get out of here, we can just bail. And a pass key never came up on the inventory. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
I like that Ken was quick enough to say, "Hey, I grabbed it from one of the guys," and it makes sense because sure, one of these guards is very likely going to have a pass key, but I've already stated I'm searching the bodies, and a pass key never came up. So, but again, and because I don't want to crap on the system, this is just something that I would have to get used to.
You guys were going to do that, and then you guys decided to go ahead and clear the thing and then get the bodies on the way back.
Right.
But yeah. 5 guys, 5 segment clock. Yeah, I don't draw 5 segment clocks. I can only draw 4.
It has to be even
6.
numbers.
Yeah, they have to be even numbers. I can't. I don't know.
You had trouble doing 12.
I had trouble doing 12.
11.
I tried to do 12. And I was like, wait a minute, what am I doing? So I have to get better on with my clock drawing. But yeah, I wouldn't do a 5 segment clock. I think there were 5 guys, and I think it was a 6 segment clock. So that's where it gets confusing. But it's abstract, hey Mike, welcome to the party. Yeah. So what, Decado, you ever play any Blades in the Dark or
Nope,
anything?
I've never played any of those of that series.
Yeah.
I've considered picking some of them up, like Band of Blades. I like the premise behind that.
Band of Blades. Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that.
I thought about picking up Scum and Villainy, but I'm like, I have D6 Star Wars, so
thank you.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah. It's a different thing. Like, Paul. Paul,
just admit that you were wrong, Roger. That's all you have to do.
They're clocks. Clocks are round. They have wedge-shaped pieces that you fill in. Yeah, I'm not drawing 5 squares to check off.
That's a clock.
Not happening.
It's a rectangle.
No, that's not that kind of clock. It's a timer mechanism, like pieces of pie that fills in. This is how a clock goes. No 5 squares, Paul. We're not doing that. So yeah. In some games, everyone's an author, but no one's a continuity editor. Yeah,
those can be tough games to switch to. If you're not used to them, those more narrative, interpreted games.
You stay out of this.
So we already have
Rock on, Edgelord.
We already have my Skyrim game planned for the night prior to the con. I think that Stan should run some D6 Star Wars for us.
Oh boy!
Oh wow! Maybe we'll have to see. I don't know what kind of
rope you into that.
I am working on something actually for
Oh
my
boy.
Thursday night group.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
I might be able to turn that into a one shot.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Let me get my brick of 100 D6s and we'll
Max at 10.
max
Max
at
at
10. No,
10. House rule.
that's a good rule. That's definitely a good
Yeah.
rule, and I think that'd make the like the higher level stuff or whatever like a
Yeah.
lot easier to
Yeah.
deal with the force
That
stuff.
was the
And,
one thing
so
looking back on that system was it could get crazy, and you're
Yeah.
just chucking
yeah,
a handful,
yeah,
armload of D6s. I mean, it's fun, but like then you got to sit and add it all up because it's not
sure,
like a free league game like Mutiny Zero where only sixes matter. You got to add all that up to get to your target number. So
yeah.
yeah.
What are you using for the tiles, Edgelord? Is it something that's free that's out there, or
Oh yeah.
some
What
kind
is
of
out there?
space stuff, or is it official Star Wars stuff? I'd be curious to know. Hey, Doc. Yeah. So that was the only game really that we had going on this week. Um, what how about you, Ducato? You had your normal game?
Yeah. We gamed a lot this week. So
Oh,
my
nice.
Thursday night group got together. Um, Zephyr here in the comments ran that game. That's our DC. That was our DCC Lankmar
Cool.
game. We finished out that adventure. It was really good. We lost a character, but it was still really good. So we'll be switching games on Thursday nights now. Give him a break. And so I did that on
Cool.
Thursday night. Friday night, I did the Daggerheart Eberron night. And yeah,
Cool.
I like Eberron.
Hmm.
I like Eberron.
What do you like about it?
Eberron, just because it's different.
Mhm.
Just like I'm usually like medieval fantasy, that thing. So having like
Yeah.
a little bit of science behind it. I think that's part of the reason like Hyperborea interests me because you have that weird fantasy science aspect as much as you want or don't want in it. Um, so I like that. And the factions, I'm a big fan of the factions in the game that we're playing. We're dealing with this faction called the Emerald Claw, and they're just a bunch of evil badasses. So um, I like that stuff. I like exploring settings um, as a player. I find I have a
Hmm.
lot of fun doing that. Um, I don't Daggerheart. mm, I don't hate it like a lot of people do on the internet, but I don't know. Like it's weird as far as like for like a game that's supposed to be highly narrative. It is very crunchy as well. Like it has a lot of mechanic. Part of it is the table's relatively new. I mean, I've only played it a few times, and there's been big gaps between those sessions, so I'm not really retaining a lot of it.
Hmm.
Um, and there's a bunch of people at the table that haven't played it at all, so like that slows things down. But like my big hangup is I don't like slow games. Like it's one of my gripes with 5e is it's painfully slow and stuff when combat starts, and Daggerheart is too. From what I've seen, I mean, that if you had people that
Really?
were all fluent in the system, it would probably be very different in that regard, or much different than what I'm experiencing. But
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, not my. It will never be my go-to game ever.
That's
So yeah, I did
interesting. Yeah.
that, and then Saturday I ran my CNC game,
Nice.
session 77. So that was good. That was actually really good. That was a great session. As my son said afterwards, he goes, "That was probably the best role play they've had in the campaign so far. Like that's all they did
Wow.
all session. There was no
Cool.
combat. I think two people rolled dice the entire session once each, and that was it. It was all just them interacting with each other and the
Cool.
NPCs and stuff. So that was
That's
awesome.
awesome.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
I'm
Yeah.
a
Yeah, it
big
was a
fan
lot of
of
fun.
that.
That was a lot of fun. And yeah, that was it. But that was a good week. Good week of games.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Good times. Um. Yeah. I got a bunch of stuff that came in. Um. Edgelord says, week one, OSE Advanced Underdark, all evil all the time. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, Chubby still didn't kill us somehow. Yeah, not for a lack of trying. Yeah, I wouldn't put you past it. You try harder. Um, So this week, yeah, I got a bunch of stuff that came in. I got like a small pile going here. It comes in every now and again. Some of this stuff I don't even remember. Well, one of these I don't even remember backing. So that's how bad I am. But the Weird Frontiers reference guide came in. That's
Thank
like
you for
the
that.
DCC. Um,
The core book, but I don't have that. I didn't know anything
Yeah,
about
well, this is fantastic. They just had these on, I think it was on Backer Kit, and it's got all the cool stuff. I mean, there's no spells, but it has all the classes, and I mean, it's got like a list of the spells, but not the charts. Um, but it's got all the fumble charts, the critical hit charts, combat charts, all the class
it.
charts,
Nice.
things like that. It's fantastic. All the class abilities and all that, so you don't have to, flip through the book and try and find all of that stuff.
Is that something they're gonna like put out, or was that just like a limited thing?
No, I think you'll be able
Okay.
to buy it from Goodman Games or whatever. I think that
I'll have to
they'll
keep my eye
they'll
out
have it.
I'll
because
be
I wouldn't
shocked
mind that.
if
Like
it's
I,
not POD on drive through.
Yeah, yeah,
oh
and
yeah,
it's
that'd be great too. 'Cause I
POD
have the
on drive
book.
through. That's how I got mine. So,
Ah, balls.
but yeah, but that's so it's so hard to get
I'm,
that to the table.
yeah, I'm about to throw my shoulder out lifting it.
You're gonna,
And I'm
yeah. Oh
not
my god,
a
yeah,
beast.
yeah. It's bigger than the DCC book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
crazy.
This is
Um,
Bloodworth's fault.
But man, what a game. Boy.
no, it's a great game. It's a
Yeah.
great game.
David did a hell of a job with that thing.
Yeah,
Boy.
it's
Yeah, it's neat.
fantastic.
I have not spent enough time with it, but one of the things I
Sorry.
wanted to do was like with my friend Chris running DCC, we'd get a pretty good handle on the rules, and then maybe at some point I could run this for
Yeah,
our,
yeah.
our Thursday night group.
Yeah, Death Angel,
Which is a
they do
monster.
that. They've been doing that where they'll do like a backer kit or Kickstarter, and it'll be like two completely unrelated products. So this was for Pinball Classics and a 5e OSR adventure or something. I backed the Pinball Crawl Classics thing that I get in on. But I don't have any interest in the other one. One of the guys involved named Brandon has a channel, seems like a good guy. Okay. Yeah. They're doing pretty good. They usually do with some of that stuff. So I got a couple things from drive through. I got Shadow over Gloomshire.
That's good.
Gloomshire. This Ducato turned me on to and said it was fantastic.
Yep,
The
I ran
Gothic
that. That's
horror
good.
adventure. It's really, really thin. It's only like 32 pages. And it's just got a bunch of cool stuff in here and some maps and
Very
like a temple and
great.
just
Like the way it's organized is really good. Like,
yeah.
I prepped hard. Well, I'd run Dragonbane a couple times, but I hadn't run it a lot. So I prepped a lot for like I put maybe the first or second session, but then after that it was like I just read the module because the way it's laid out, it's super. And Dragonbane
Yeah.
itself is so easy
Yeah.
to run that with not a lot of prep.
Yeah.
That was really good. And it's actually weird or interesting because like my guys didn't get to like everything. Like there was some stuff hinted at that they
Really?
kind of interacted with, but then they never really got to it. So like
Yeah.
I could literally go back there and run stuff there again. There's a whole other thing we could do. And it could be expanded on or whatever.
That's cool.
Really neat. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a couple new classes. There's the
Yep.
the Paladin and the
Paladin.
Demon Hunter.
Yeah, we
that are
had
there.
one of the players in the game I ran a Paladin.
Yeah.
The only issue that came
That's
up with the Paladin, because we're all old school players, is that in Dragonbane in the system itself, there's no real they never really talk about gods or anything,
Yeah.
and they don't in that book either. But like when
But it mentions it in the class.
exactly, yeah, exactly.
A holy warrior,
uh,
the paladin is sworn an oath to root
Yeah.
out evil and protect the weak in the name of their god.
So like Zephyr in the
Yeah.
comments was the one that played the paladin, and he stumped me right off at the beginning when he was making his character, because he was like, "Well, what god do I worship?" And I'm like, "Well, shit, there aren't any gods." So I'm like, and we kind of like muddled through it. But that's the one thing, like prepping it, I would just come up with maybe a list of like 2 gods or something,
Yeah.
'cause it's not a big deal. Like I said, they don't really use them in Dragonbane, so there's no like divine magic in the core system,
Yeah.
in the
That's
official
interesting.
system. So that was the only thing. Other than that, that was a great I had a blast running it. The guys
Cool.
had fun playing it. It's a good
Um,
module, good
it
adventure.
ran like in a few hours.
Yeah, I mean, we play from on our Thursday night groups. I mean, we start at 6:30 and get done at 10, but reality, we're probably starting closer to 7
Sure.
after we get, done bullshitting and stuff. And
Yeah.
it ran good,
That's
and
cool.
it was really really fun.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. The other thing that came in with this, something else I ordered through drive through is the Shadow City book. Chubby Chubby
Oh,
Funster's Blood and Neon there. That's his vampire game
Hmm.
there.
oh, okay.
My
So
first thought was it's cyberpunk. Okay, so
well,
it's
that's cool.
So did
vampire,
I.
It's
like
it's a
modern vampire type thing.
it's like a VTM game, but
Oh,
it's
Vampire the Masquerade. Okay,
but it's Shadow Dark,
got it.
so but it's kind of cool. It's got
You have to be a pretentious douchebag to play it.
yes.
Okay, it's important to know.
Requirement.
No, I don't think this one requires you to be a pretentious douchebag, but and I think it's you're playing and it's like the 80s or the 90s. Yeah, Death Angel says 1980s. And yeah, 1981. And then as
Okay.
you play, like it advances through the years. And then eventually you get to a point where like you can't survive anymore because technology is like caught up to the point where, you know, like now you're playing Blacklight where like, you're getting hunted by like special ops that have, night
Sure.
vision and everything. You just can't survive. But I'm interested in the like the coming up with the neighborhood stuff. There's a whole thing where you're rolling for like factions and whatnot, and you end up building like a whole um the whole city neighborhood by neighborhood just by rolling on some charts, and there's just points of interest and what who controls it and all that stuff. So it's kind of a neat system.
So I have a question about the game. I don't know how much you've read it,
Yeah, not a
and
lot.
and I am not trying to make a joke.
Yeah,
The '80s saw the AIDS epidemic just come through.
yeah.
Being
um
vampires, you're drinking blood. Does it discuss anything like that, or we just assume the
that I don't know.
vampires are immune to disease? Okay, cool.
That I do not know. um he talks about the digital stuff. It doesn't talk about that.
Hmm. Okay,
Not that I've seen. I mean, and it's Shadow Dark with
yeah. I probably just assume that vampires are immune to disease. That
yeah,
that would be
yeah,
the easiest way to do it, I
yeah.
guess.
That's probably it. But yeah, um, but yeah. So it's like I said, I haven't really read it. I just looked at some of the like I heard the city and the neighborhood creation stuff was pretty cool. So that was really neat.
Cool.
And I wanted to get it. I don't know if I'd ever run it. Play it maybe. I was never really into VTM.
Hmm.
Mostly because I didn't want to wear plastic teeth and wear a trench coat and be
You,
brooding.
you didn't want to have
I
to be
mean,
a pretentious douchebag.
yeah, and I
I
mean that was
understand.
like everybody I knew that like played like you had to go to the thing, you had to get dressed up and
Yeah.
everybody
No thanks.
and you got to wear the rings with the
Oh, yeah.
extended
Oh,
finger ring things or what I mean, whatever they call those. People just had those. It's just wasn't doing it. So that was that.
I'm looking at
Oh
Doc
my
Flamingo
god.
sing there.
Oh my
Christopher
god.
Walken is such a legend, and his appearances on
Yeah.
SNL were the best.
Yeah.
My favorite
Yeah.
was the
He was great.
Continental, the guy that's always
Never
wanted to drink
played like that.
champagne.
Paul never played like
Excellent.
that. Paul, I don't know. We've had like completely different play experiences, you and I think with things around here. Like, I mean, I can introduce you to some of the people that, that played the stuff, and that's how it always was. They would go to like a meeting room or something, public area of like the college, at one point, and they just all meet up, and they'd all be wearing trench coats and just the makeup and and they just, it was like a huge thing, and they would play, and I
It's like
just couldn't get into that.
when I was a kid. I was younger, obviously. I worked at the mall, the big mall that we have here, and I remember seeing these two dudes walking around like. I'm never a big fan of the Matrix movies, but they were like these two guys that were twins in the Matrix movies. They were like
Yeah,
blonde
the
haired or
ghost.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, both these guys like walking around the mall, and I was like, "Oh, look at those two douchebags."
I love the Matrix movies. The first one's by far the best. The second and third get worse as you go along.
Yeah,
But
I
I
thought the
still
So
trilogy was fine.
and I
I
really like the second one. I love this, and that's where the ghosts are in the second one. Those two guys
that's
um
how
are
I
awesome.
feel about the John Wick
yeah,
movies.
larps.
Like the first one was
That's
great. After that,
I like the
that's
first
all it
one. I like
was,
the second one. The third one
Paul.
sucked. The fourth was great.
That's all it was, Paul. Was them like larping? Like they wouldn't play the game without the larp. That was all part of it. So, you know, that was
I had
that was
friends
that.
that played Vampire. They didn't do that, but I don't know. I never played it
Yeah,
with them,
I don't know.
so I was
I
playing
mean,
D&D or Shadow Dark then, so
I would love to try it with a group that is not
wasn't a bunch of
gonna
weirdos.
larp the whole thing and actually try and bite my neck or something.
Right.
Yeah,
So
the people that I played with were not LARPers. They didn't do that.
yeah, yeah,
They were pretentious as hell. They all said they were Wiccans and all this nonsense.
yeah,
It's
yeah. Sure, sure,
you're not a Wiccan.
sure.
Please stop.
A
But
different game. Yeah, I don't doubt it, Paul. Like, but that was my like barrier of entry was like the whole, that whole thing. Like, I didn't want to LARP, so
yes,
so
edgelord. It was
that
the
was that.
'90s. What are
It
you
was
gonna
the
do?
'90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Um. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe there were groups around here that didn't do that, but those are the only people that I knew. So I steered clear of it. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not doing it. So, so that's that. Yeah, Wiccans. Yeah. Um. So this Matt turned me on to getting this. I have to read through this yet. The Dark Crystal
You were
RPG.
lucky to get that because
He said
that
it
is
was really
now
good.
impossible to find.
Really,
Yeah, I was reading something last night about that,
really.
and then I went and looked on Amazon. You can't even find it.
I literally like when Matt said it. I like went on Amazon and I bought it, and it was like $22 or
Yep.
something.
Somebody said in the comments I was reading on whatever I was reading, that I don't know if like the Questing Beast or somebody with a YouTube channel, a bigger YouTube channel, said something about it. Maybe that's why it's now. But yeah,
Really?
so I went to Amazon last night because that night Matt talked about it. I put it in my cart and then I never ordered it.
Yeah.
And then I went back because I was like, nobody's gonna buy this, and then I go back
Yeah.
and nope.
Right.
There's a ton of other like books and comic books and stuff, but no.
Yeah, that's what Matt says. Questing Beast.
Yeah, you can get the bestiary super
Yep,
cheap,
I
but
saw that.
I don't see the core book on here.
Nope,
Really?
gone.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Well, Matt, thank you for bringing it to my attention before
Just
Questing
in
Beast
time.
brought
yeah.
it to
Good job,
everyone
Matt.
else's attention.
I should
so
have bought it when I saw it.
so I got it. Yeah, and like I said, it was like $22 or something. So
Yeah, it's cheap.
not even bad. It was like
Cheap.
half the price of the book, um, which is just fantastic. All right, two more things. I got this that I backed a while ago. This is the White Box Cyclopedia. This
Oh,
is
cool. I
James
like that
Spahn,
cover.
and got a cool cover. It's got a ribbon there, and this is basically it's based on, I guess, compatible with Swords and Wizardry. That's kind of what they've been making, and it's
Looks
just
sick.
got a bunch of like all the classes and all the stuff that's in here, and everything that's just all put together in one thing, one big book. There's stuff about knights and just a whole bunch of different classes. There's a ton of optional classes and different races and stuff. They break down like halflings and dwarves and stuff, and just more multiple classes, and kind of just combine everything into one book. Um,
Nice.
yeah, Question Beats. I didn't watch all of it. I'm gonna watch his video in its entirety before I say anything on it. But he did release like an updated video today, I believe. That was like titled like "Was I wrong about DCC" or something like that. So I don't know. Maybe he went back on it. I don't know.
Well, the funny thing, like I watched some of it, and he's comparing it to old school essentials. Well, no shit. Like
Yeah,
old school essentials is the gold standard of layout in books. Like
yeah,
I've never seen anything better. The only thing I've seen that's really kind of close is like the Hyperborea books are
yeah,
really good, but like they're all laid out the same. Like there's just perfect layout for usability.
yeah. But
Like
yeah,
the
you don't want
OSD is
that.
great.
You don't want that in a
OSD is
DCC
great,
book. It's
but it's
yeah, it's
like
and Edgelord
comparing
said that
them
too.
is foolish. Like it's a
Yeah,
foolish comparison, in my
yeah.
opinion. But
Um,
whatever.
hey,
To each
look,
their own.
Downtime. What is this? What is this? Downtime game regards good economics. Yeah, of course it does. The last thing that I got that was on Kickstarter was this Acheron, Acheron. I don't know, core rule book. I have no idea what this thing is.
But you
It's a D.
bought it anyway.
Well, I bought it anyway, but well, this is one of those things that I backed on Kickstarter like I don't know 2 years ago. Um, it's
Why
got a
did you
bunch of
back it if you
ability
didn't know what it
trees and
was?
stuff, and yeah, it's I don't know, something made me back it, and it showed up. You know,
Okay, cool.
I I don't know. Oh, I didn't know that,
I
Paul.
don't know, but that's not surprising.
Yeah, yeah, not surprising at all. So downtime. What else have you guys gotten anything else this week? Yeah, I forgot.
The only
I
thing I
forgot
got
there's other
was
You
geeks in here.
guys.
Jesus.
I got this.
Ooh, Warhammer Fantasy.
Yep. So this was on. I've been wanting to get. I have a one of my guilty collecting pleasures is Warhammer Fantasy stuff, and some now 40K stuff. But it's one of my favorite settings, the old Warhammer Fantasy. So
Yeah, sure.
actually, Crucible 7 had this on sale, so it was like half off or something. So I ordered
Cool.
it. So I already have their. It's the biggest. So if you're not familiar, Altdorf is the biggest city in the Empire. And I already had their other setting book, which is another city called Middenheim. So, but yeah,
Mhm.
it's all about Altdorf, and yeah, it's a game that's on the bucket list to run.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, Matt's talking about it, underappreciates the flavor of DCC. Not totally wrong about the original Adventures Reincarnated range. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Anything else, Dan, that you got or
No, this was the only thing
just a
that
couple
came
things?
in,
Nice. Yeah.
and I
I don't know.
forgot what it
I
was
get
like
weeks where I get a ton of stuff.
ordering from like a company that knows how to sell package books, because it came in and I was like, what
Wow.
the fuck
Yeah.
is this? And I
Yeah.
and I'm like digging. I'm like, well, I forgot that I ordered this through directly from Crucible 7, not Amazon. So I was like, holy shit, like it was in a box, wrapped in paper, in another box, wrapped in plastic. And I was like, there's no way,
Yeah.
Amazon, they would have thrown this in an envelope and sent it,
Yep.
and then wondered why they get a billion returns.
Um, Edgelord will. I don't want to spoil anything yet. I don't know if that might get changed. I don't know. He might not run Hyperborea. He might run Conan 2D20 instead. I think he's flipping a coin on that. So, uh,
Zephyr had a comment in there. We will play Hyperborea this year. I guarantee it.
oh, he
That
was
will
just
be a
saying that he
game I
missed
run.
it. Yeah, and he said that he missed it.
Yeah, he didn't get to play the one session we
Warhammer,
ran. So
Warhammer Fantasy role playing is cool. Would you say it's OSR? No, I would not. It does not fit the definition. It is almost as old as D&D, but not quite.
yeah,
OSR, I think, for me, is specifically something that emulates and is based on the old versions of D&D.
D&D.
Basic, Back Me, Holmes, first edition, second edition, I guess. I don't know. I kind of draw the line after first edition personally, but I mean, I know second edition is, close, rules wise and stuff. So,
Warhammer has always been its own thing. It will always be its own thing.
yeah. So, and now some
What-
people use that and say, oh, well, it's, Warhammer, or, Warhammer is OSR because it just means that it's anything that's, you know,
Not
more
fifth
than like
edition.
25 years old. No,
Right.
even like anything 25 years old. Like there's people out there that say in 20 years or in another 15 years, D&D 2014 5e is going to be OSR. And I disagree with that. I disagree with that completely. There's people out there.
Funny thing
Bad
is,
Mike, is this
before
Bad Mike?
before they started doing their own game, they used to publish stuff for D&D.
Yes.
They would make.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Games Workshop did.
Right. Yeah, you're right, Death Angel. Many say Traveler is OSR, and they're wrong.
I think it was Matt a couple of weeks ago that made the statement that's, OSR really is just now a label. It's like superfoods, military
Yes.
grade. It doesn't mean a freaking thing.
Yes.
It's just, this is
That's
OSR,
what it's
so
used for.
buy it.
Yeah. OSR. Well, it's because of the definitions of it now. It's like, whereas it used to be like, oh, this means it's, the revival of the old versions of the game, which is why it originally started, because you couldn't get the original prints
Right.
because they were, people were gouging on eBay for them.
Yeah.
And, and then obviously now then they released all that stuff. And then obviously you can only make so many copies of, BX. So I know Paul, like, I've seen Paul on, Bloodworth's live stream. His tagline under the thing was like,
no
we don't
more
need more
BX.
BX
Yep.
clones or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
And he's right. We don't need more BX clones. I mean, unless they have something to add, to the.
But they don't.
But right. They don't. But I mean, I'm okay with it if something does, like, I mean, but yeah, old school revival versus Renaissance, yeah, and then it's a whole thing, and that's what's kind of become over years is there's been like this second generation of like OSR games that are now games that take the first generation OSR games and make them into a bunch of other things, and change them, and then like, are they still OSR? And like, you just keep branching out, and then eventually you're nowhere. Yeah. They're definitely not the same thing. Yeah.
And I, Paul stated in the text there that, OSR is AD&D and before. And that's when I think of OSR, that's what I think of. Greg Gillespie's Dragon Slayer, clearly OSR. It's BX, AD&D,
clearly BX,
clearly
AD&D,
BX. So like Castles and Crusades, I would not call Castles and Crusades OSR.
No. I feel the same way about Shadow Dark.
Yeah.
They're not Castles and Crusades.
Shadow Dark is absolutely not OSR.
Castles and Crusades basically modified third edition to work like first edition did.
Right.
And Shadow Dark
AD&D
did it with 5e.
Mm-hmm.
She took 5e and you stripped it down so it runs like BX or works like BX. But like, she didn't go from BX and go forward with it. No, DCC, same thing. Edgelord DCC is gonna get the Death Angel in a second. Well, DCC is same thing. It's third edition that they took and made their own system with it and kind of tried to go back and make it feel like an older system. CNC came out, yeah, but it's still based on third edition.
And even Steven Chenault said that CNC, he doesn't consider it
so.
OSR.
Yeah, and OSR adjacent. I mean, that's, I don't know. I mean, I think that there's a lot of things that even Edgelord does OSR adjacent.
That's
that's where a lot of things should be classified. And I understand when people are like, oh, okay, they don't want to keep calling things, OSR adjacent. Let's just call it OSR and like be done with it. And it's fine. I mean, and there's tons of people that are on, all different sides of this argument of where they draw the line and everything else. And personally, I just don't, I don't really care. It just, whatever. Um, any kind of old school game is great. There's a lot of newer games that I think that are fantastic. Um, but yeah, so yeah, OSR adjacent. Yeah, Steven didn't like 3, but a lot of his stuff is based on that. Yeah, not everything needs a label. There you
I
go.
agree.
That's
Yep.
right.
We don't need to
Good call,
label
Chris.
everything and put it in a box.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I need to, but
But especially the
but
OSR thing, and really that's what I was alluding to. You can call something OSR. It's not going to make me run out and buy it. But
yeah,
if I
yeah,
see a system that I think is interesting or put together well, has a clean format, I will very likely go buy it. But
sure,
OSR just
sure,
doesn't mean anything to me. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Kiara also have the flu here. Oh boy,
it's going around.
yeah,
Yep.
Good luck
yeah,
with
it's
that.
going around. So, yeah, a lot of people I've heard have been getting sick in the last couple weeks or so.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, knock on wood, everything's okay here. I'll probably get it, this weekend. Um, let's see, Mike. If there's anything wrong with being OSR, Jason, I'm sure Kelsey's fine with making millions of dollars Kickstarters for the game.
I'm
More
sure she is.
my
And more
neighborhood.
power to her.
Absolutely, Mike.
Yep.
Absolutely,
More
Mike.
power to her.
Um,
Good for her.
yeah, no, and I think Shadow Dark is fantastic game. I think it's
Yep.
absolutely fantastic, and
I'm running
I
it
think
this
she
week.
did a great job with it. And but it's not OSR, so but that's that. Yeah, yeah, right, sure. I agree. I agree. Traveler's not OSR. I mean that's so yeah, the Edgelord RPG. Yeah, that's fun. Crazy. All right. What were we supposed to be talking about today? Downtime.
Well, I
I
haven't
don't
done
know.
my share of show and tell yet.
Yeah.
What do you
Casey's
got?
turn.
What did you get today? I know you're excited. What did you get? Did you
I
get?
Wednesday, right after the show, just like I knew was going to happen, my Forbidden Lands came in. My
Nice.
goodness, what a beautiful set!
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I
It's
didn't
great.
get to read very
Yeah.
much into it because I got a lot of books to read. Edgelord early on asked me if I was enjoying the Gray Knight, his Gray Knight. Honestly, man, I've like flipped through the pages, but I haven't looked at it that much. I just haven't had time. My Ashes Without Numbers came.
Nice.
So very excited because this I did start reading, and boy, I like it. I'm getting the same vibe from it that I got from Blacklight. Like every time I flip a page, I'm like, I've seen more that I like.
Yeah.
I think I was 5, maybe 6 pages into it, and I started getting an idea for a character. So when that happens, I'm like,
Cool.
good. This is a system that I want to play.
It's nice.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I ordered a bunch of the Vason source books. They're all
Yeah.
behind me
Yeah.
on the shelf now. I've only got one more coming. That's the Carpathian Mountain set.
Yeah, that's a good
So
one.
once
Nice.
that gets here, I'll have all of Vason. I'll be ready to go for it. And I think that's it. And I know that. Oh, and also Stan made a comment about Amazon just throwing books in envelopes. My Ashes Without Numbers came wrapped in bubble wrap that was taped around it, nice and secure, put inside of like
Yeah.
a padded thing, and then put inside a box. Got to me in almost flawless condition. My Vason books came from Amazon, beat to shit, thrown into a thin paper envelope and just thrown on my porch. And I open them up, and the corners are all crushed, and I'm going, oh, just oh.
Yeah.
But
Pisses me off.
when you pay a discounted rate, you get discounted service. That's how I feel about it. So I can't really complain too much about it.
The sucky thing about it is they used to be good about it. Like
And they
that was
sure
their
did.
thing. Like they shipped books. They knew how to do
Yep.
it. Now they have no clue. Like I said, they just,
Absolutely correct.
the last thing
Yeah.
I got from them was just thrown in a friggin' slightly padded envelope, but it's a hardcover book, like
Yeah.
God knows what
that
that
annoyed
bounced
me
off from
greatly.
between. Yeah, sucks.
And Roger, I don't know if you backed it, but I know that Stan and I just backed Joe Block's newest
Oh yeah.
Kickstarter.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you did too. So
Yeah,
all three of us
I
backed that
that.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joe's
No, it
Kickstarter.
definitely looked
So
interesting.
speaking of OSR, the top
Um,
tier on the Kickstarter is only $25. Check it out. Give the guy some love.
it's definitely cool stuff. What Mike, nobody Yeah, I've heard you mention that before. That Traveler's like the most requested game, and that nobody runs it. Well, you're talking about just classic Traveler from like the little black books. I mean, I got the set, up here, but um, with the original three books. That's interesting. They do somewhere in, I think it's in Pennsylvania. I think it just happened like a few months ago, September, October, maybe. There's a Traveler Con and it's just a convention where they play Traveler all weekend long. Um, so that's interesting. Yeah, I've considered running it at some conventions and stuff. I just don't know if I can ever get to Texas. That's the problem. You want to go to Texas, Jason? You want to take a drive?
Yes. You talking about North Texas Con?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is one of the cons I plan on going to. It's probably not going to happen in 2027 because I'm already doing a lot of traveling and I'm looking at buying a house. My God, dude, I'm stretching myself thin.
Yeah.
But 2028,
Yeah.
strong possibility.
Well, Mike, if you come up for Traveler Con, let me know. I know that's a hike for you, but it's only 4 or 5 hours for us. So, yeah, Texas awaits. Yeah,
That is Joe Block's Kickstarter.
there
Edgelord,
it
I
is.
think
Yeah.
you just
Oh, there you go. Good.
Um,
Adventures Time. Book of Wisdom, Lost
Yeah.
Wisdom. I think it's
put
called.
the put the
There you
link
go.
in the private chat, and I'll post it on the thing.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay,
I'll do it.
Your Todd will do it.
Sorry.
Mike, we'd love to come down. Love to come down. Obviously, with CNY being the week after it, that makes it rough. I know that's no excuse for previous years because this is only year 2 for CNY. North Texas is on my list. I would love to get there.
Mhm.
It's just it's a hike to drive, and just to fly is a pain in the ass, and all of that stuff. So but one of these days, definitely want to get down there. Okay, so here's the thing here. So if I copy this link address and put this here, put that there.
You got it
Yeah,
funded,
North
so that's
Texas.
good.
Jesus,
And like I said,
that's
the top tier for that Kickstarter is $25. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah.
for
that's
the
awesome.
print book.
So please do have a look.
I was shocked when I saw that.
Yeah,
And
Mike, it doesn't look
scheduled
bad.
to deliver in June.
Yeah. So which we were talking about when we did our Kickstarter episode. That was one of the things we talked about. If it's going to be delivered in June, he has it written out. He is ready to go. He's just like, okay, how many of these am I going to sell? Love it.
He did a video. I think it's in that. Like a lot of the material is stuff that he has already written. It's just getting reformatted and then gone over and
Right.
stuff, and
Yep.
and
To
then
look
and then
pretty.
put into one package, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I've
So
gotten
you're
2
gonna have, like,
emails this
1,000
week
books.
from Free League announcing that their alpha PDFs are now available to download. Delete. Nope. When you get your finished
Really?
product, let me know and then I'll take
Yeah.
a look. I have no and
Yeah,
I've
I
said this
didn't.
before. I'm
Yes,
not
he
interested in being
launched
someone's editor.
this morning. It's like
Yeah.
9:30 this morning or something.
Yeah.
that
And
he
of
launched.
course it's already happened. He's already tripled the goal. So yeah.
Which is great.
Cool.
Yeah, Edgelord, North Texas is amazing. I have heard nothing but good things.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. It's way better than CNY, but if CNY is closer, come here, obviously. But no, I've heard nothing but good things about North Texas. I definitely want to get down there. And Mike, I've mentioned this to you before. Open invite to come to CNY. I mean, I can't cover your travel, but I can cover your badge. I know that's a drop in the
we
bucket.
can get you a hotel room for sure.
Yeah, we get you a hotel room for a couple nights. I mean, that part
We're gonna
we can
inflate a
do.
mattress here if you want to
But-
crash my pad. That's fine.
But,
It's only an hour
but
away.
getting here, I mean, that's on you, buddy. Um, CNY, thank you so much, Mike. That means a lot coming from you, because you, I mean, you're running like the OSR con that everybody kind of tries to go by. So it's fantastic to hear that. So, um, but yeah. Anytime you want to show up, let me know. And I know it's rough. It's a week after North Texas, and but one of these days I'm gonna come to Texas, and one of these days, we'll get you up here. Yeah, yeah. Eric is absolutely fantastic. He's talking about Tankar. Uh, he's been absolutely fantastic. Talking me through
Yeah, he's a
stuff,
good guy.
talking to things. He's great people. He's even offered to show up early this year to help set up tables and everything. I mean, he's fantastic.
Is Bad
So
Mike the one that runs North Texas?
yeah,
Okay.
it's him and
The Gato one I didn't know, and I was like, I'm just gonna ask.
him and
Yeah,
him and one other guy. Yeah, sorry guys. It's him and one other guy. I think I think Mike is the face. And the other
cool.
guy handles all the behind the scene stuff. And I'm blanking on his name. So Gary
Gary,
Oliver.
Gary
That's
Oliver.
it.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Fantastic. So yeah, cool. That's that'd be awesome. It's awesome to have anybody that wants to come up. It's been
That's my buddy Carl.
nice. Nice.
Yeah, he definitely should come, Carl.
Yeah.
You drive all the way to Maine to see my dumbass, so like you can make it to New York.
Very cool. We seem in kind of a lull, so can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Sure.
I'm seeing a ton of names in the chat that I don't recall seeing before, and a couple that I haven't seen in a while. So I don't know what brought you to this channel, but thank you for watching. The Andy, I think from England. I'm like, England? What the hell? So thank you so much for tuning in and watching this and all your comments. This so freaking cool. I get to do this on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, it is awesome.
I
Man.
I get to sit here and talk
Yeah, it's
about
fun.
D&D for 3.5, 4 hours. God, what a gig. It's so awesome.
They're here. They're here for my beautiful voice.
That's what it is. Yeah.
They want to hear me.
That's what it. Well, then I should stop talking. So you go right ahead, Roger. You're the boss.
With your
They
dulcet
came here
tones.
for the Skyrim talk. Now
That's right.
you're the only one, Edgelord.
Can do that all night long, baby.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Sharing helps. Yeah. No, and the community's been fantastic too. Everybody's willing to share around and do stuff. And yeah, guys, we didn't make it. I said if we hit 250 subs by today, I would run it. We hit 131. So we didn't get there. So no, my little pony.
I was watching
Yeah. Oof.
earlier,
God.
or I guess it was last week, whenever it was. Roger told me, "Hey, I'm about to be on Bloodworth's channel. If you want to check it out," I was like, "All right, cool, I'll check it out." So I started watching it, and I saw, No More BX Clones, and I saw the name Paul, and I'd been watching for like an hour and a half, and I was like, "That's our Paul." Oh,
Our Paul.
oh, I had no idea who it was, and then I was like, "Oh, now I know who this guy is." So it was cool seeing you and putting those two together, Paul. Yeah.
So
Anyway,
Maine.
sorry, I'm done.
Maine. Yeah. Ducato lives in Maine. My wife came from Maine. She wants to go back. Whereabouts whereabouts in Maine are you? Or were you? It'd be crazy if it was like your neighbor or something. Is that going to show up on the? Yeah, look at that. There you go. There's the My Little Pony thing there. Yeah, Paul's cool. Paul's cool. Sanford. I don't know where that is.
Oh Jesus! Wow, that's close. Like that's really might as well be
Wow.
neighbors.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's awesome. It sucks now that you're in North Carolina, but
Yeah,
you have another gamer at the table.
Very
crazy. Yeah. Wow, that's nuts how that works. But wow. So what else? We're like an hour in. And
Yeah.
anyway.
No, I got nothing. My big thing was Ashes Without
Yeah.
Numbers. Looks like
That's cool.
Another winner. Super excited
It is.
to play this game.
And it's interesting to watch the progression. Like if you look at Stars Without Number, and then like Cities Without Number, or Worlds Without Number, and then Cities Without Number, and then Ashes. You can see like his progression of the game. And Stars Without Number has like some stuff that's like suggested to add in, or if you want. And Ashes, he really did like a fantastic job with trying to, I don't want to say like modularize, but like, uses different things. Like if you're going to run this, use these, or you can use this thing and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So you
that
could
was
play
another.
like a Fallout game, or you could play,
Yes,
like a boy
that's
and his dog, or any kind of,
that's exactly one of the things that I meant to say about it, and I got sidetracked and forgot. I was reading it because I got it thinking it's a Fallout clone, and I'm reading. I'm like, oh, this is not a Fallout clone. This is you can play Fallout, you can play The
yeah,
End, Armageddon, you can play World War III. And I was like, this is a really good, because there's so much you can do
yeah,
with it while using the same rule set. I'm super excited
yeah,
about this book, and
yeah,
it's a good read. It's been interesting for me to read it, and that's a huge bonus for me.
yeah. Well, this is that's his like seventh RPG, I think. So it's like he's had practice. So
Yeah,
um, but yeah, it's a really good system. So I'm definitely excited for it.
yeah.
And I don't know if we didn't set a date on that yet, did we? Or did we?
No,
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 we
I,
just
I don't think so. Yeah, it was Ken.
okay.
Ken plans on running it. I made a character, and then when I read through the book, I was like, oh, I need to talk to Ken about changing my character up because there's things that I would like to do.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, it's definitely a cool book. It's definitely got a bunch of cool stuff. I
yeah,
look forward to Kevin Crawford, his next, whatever he comes out with next. I'll I'll back. We're talking about Ashes Without Number, and yeah, the other Kevin Crawford stuff. A
What kind
friend
of
of
system
ours.
does that use?
It's
its
it's
own
a
system.
yeah. So it's a D20 system when it comes to like the combat and stuff, and the skills are sort of like Traveler. They're like a 2d6
Oh,
system, and you get like points, like a plus one, two, three, or four, basically to the
Mhm.
roll. Um,
interesting.
so yeah, it's kind of, and it's that's the way all of his Without Number books have been. Like Stars Without Number has been closer to like a BX, and then yeah, Matt's a D20 combat 2d6 skills.
Cool.
And then Ashes has I think some other mechanisms and stuff in it. But yeah, yeah, it's cool. It's cool stuff. So 18, yeah, he's talking about his player's handbook. That's right. Um. So yeah. So Downtime, right? We could talk about Downtime, or what? We want
Go for
talking
it.
about Downtime. So there's a lot. This is it's kind of under the gun here because of some last minute changes. But yeah, Downtime is definitely an interesting topic because I see out there that there's a lot of games that really don't, not games, like sessions or groups, I guess, that don't really use downtime. They just kind of show up. You show up every week, you run the game, and then it's like the group goes through the dungeon, or they go through the city adventure, or they save the princess, whatever it is, right? And then they pause, right? Time stops, right there. It's Sunday at noon right now, and then a week later they come back to the table. They sit down. Their characters pick up. It's Sunday at noon. We just walked out of out of this dungeon, and we're walking into the next one, and it's like, I don't mind that. I'm not saying that that's a bad way of playing. If that's what you want to do, is just go through power through dungeons and adventures and modules, like that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it makes it makes some interesting thing where you start thinking about like, well, wow, so these characters just like left home a month ago, powered through like 40 dungeons with nonstop, right? And then like came back home in their 20th level or whatever, and like in 25 days of of game time or whatever with no kind of downtime. And that's so I see a lot of groups like that. And I don't know if it's because there's not a lot of guidance in like the core books or historically like what to do, or if it's, if it's something else, if people don't like doing downtime stuff. What do you guys think on that, or comment on that?
Um, I think I think myself, I've been historically bad about giving my players downtime. Like my 5e campaign I ran, like man, they were on a from the beginning to end, it was pretty much a I think we had one thing in there, like one break where we said narratively like a year had passed where they were
Yeah,
able to do some stuff, but a lot of it was like from the next to the next to the next to the next, and they didn't really get a lot of downtime. And I think my CNC game, I would hope it's a little bit better. Some of the guys in the comments playing it, so if it isn't, they can chime in and tell me I'm wrong. It's a little bit better, but we still don't. I don't do a lot of downtime. It's usually like, hey, let's let's move forward. But I'm not opposed to it. Like there's just different things, and they're starting to get a little more powerful. Like we have 3 eighth level characters, and the rest are seventh. So it's like, they're going to be looking at another level or so, starting to get strongholds or more followers. Some of them already have a couple followers, but more of that will be happening as they progress. So there will be
yeah,
downtime. So, and the guys have talked. They have their own ideas. Like one of the guys who plays the cleric, he wants to build a temple, and has even talked about
yeah,
taking his character out of the play. They're going time wise, it's winter, starting of winter, and they know in the spring they're headed north to go to war. So one of them is talking about building a temple and just like, hey, we're going to need like aid, like potions and stuff like that. And he's like, and he even talked to me about maybe taking his character out of the game for a bit while that happens. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out.
yeah. Um, yeah, it looks like Jason's got a lot that he wants to say on this.
Um, somebody made the comment, and I don't know where I saw. Maybe it was very early on in the chat. To have downtime, you need an economy. I totally agree with that,
Yeah,
and I always have to couch when I start talking about stuff like this because I am not trying to insult anybody or tell anybody how to play. I'm that this is just my take on all this stuff. One of the things that Roger and I have discussed at length about his campaign is that the city does not exist. There's no tavern that I'm not directly involved in. There's no trade. There's no real economy in it. So when we get downtime, what are our guys doing? I'm building everything, and now the follow-on characters can say, "Well, I'm going to go hang out at the tavern," but that's not what we do because we are playing one day equals one day. We come and we sit down Sunday, and then that week is what we are playing. Then the next Sunday is the next week. And when I began talking about retiring Yohai, that was my primary argument for retiring him. Everybody was like, "Oh, you're only eighth level. You're like 20 years old." I'm like, "Yeah, that's absolutely true." But for the past 18 months, I have done nothing but walk for hundreds of miles and kill anything that got within spear's reach of me. That is what Yohai has been doing for 18 months. And and as Paul said, because I'm method, I'm like that's exhausting. It's physically exhausting. It's mentally exhausting. He's had a lifetime of war in 18 months, and yeah, he doesn't want to do it anymore. He's got a fiance now. He's married. He saved up a bunch of money and built a temple, and everybody's already heard all that, everything I built. But the last thing I built was a manor. I'm like, and I said, Roger, here's what I want. How much is it going to cost me? And he was like, I don't really care. Just you're going to retire him. Don't worry about it. Just make the manor. So I refurbished a tower that we had found early on and then never did anything with. So I refurbished the tower, and then I built a manor into the tower and put walls around it. And now I control 2.5 hexes of territory. That's Yohai's land. He's a viscount. He's got heraldry and all that, and so that's the most downtime that Yohai's ever had,
hmm
and it bugs me honestly. That's why I was kind of like giving you my look. Yeah, I was. What'd you say? I was talking to. I said the look. That's what you said a couple weeks ago. I said the look, um, because I love downtime in the game. I don't enjoy just constantly going out and smacking the monsters. I enjoy that, of course. That's a
Sure.
huge part of the game. But I really like the role playing aspect. I would be perfectly happy sitting there for 4 hours and just talking in character and listening to the other guys talk about what they're doing. But it's not that it's particularly rare, because I don't want to sound like I'm the only one that does it. But most of the guys, they just want to sit down and go smack monsters around. Nabil has no interest in role playing anything. He just wants to go and fight the monster. He wants to play the level 20 characters that we made up, and I have no interest in playing that level 20 monk. I made them just because. Um, I like the interaction. I like the interaction with NPCs, but we don't have NPCs in our world. So there's never going to be downtime. And and like I said, I'm not trying to like push you into being like we need NPCs so I
Sure.
can go out and talk to them. But I really like it when I step into a world, and if I walk into a city, that I'm like, wow, I'm really in a city. I can hear the noise in my head, and I can see all the people, and I want to go talk to them. And
Sure.
like if I go shopping, I want to go to the market, but I don't want to hog the whole table going to shop for potions for 3 hours, because
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
I've been a
Yeah.
guy at a table that where that's happened, and I want to choke the player and the DM for allowing it to happen. But I like the downtime, because to me the downtime is what makes the world feel alive. So
Yeah.
there, I could probably keep going,
Um,
but I don't think there's a need
yeah,
to.
no, and I get that, and it's interesting, like, yeah, like, Paul says,
Mhm.
retiring the
Yeah.
characters, and I,
I've only had a couple players ever talk about like retiring the character before the campaign concluded, like for narrative reasons. Like, my buddy that wants has talked about it maybe with his cleric. I don't know. And then my 5e game, I had a player that they were in the middle of doing something big, and he talked to me. He said, "After this, I may retire this character and go live in the Feywild because that's the
yeah,
only place I've been happy. Like other than
Mhm.
that, I'm not happy. I'm miserable here." And I'm like,
Yep.
"Wow, that's a maturity in a player you don't see a lot,
mhm,
Yeah.
honestly." It's
At
all
one
about
point,
yeah,
next.
Yohai had put a crusade together. It was 100 soldiers and a couple lieutenants and a captain, and I sent them out into the world. Just go and tell me what's out there, and come back in a couple of months, and I want a full report, and then I'll do something with it. And Roger did that, and he gave me like a rundown of things they had found, and I was like, excellent. Yohai is going to give some quests to the low level players. Here's some things that I want you to check out. Let me know what's there. Deal with it if you can. Don't get yourself killed. And unfortunately, those low level characters got killed, so that doesn't matter. But we've talked about transition over to Shadow Dark. Even when that happens, I can still bring in new players and be like, Yohai, the cleric, the bishop of this temple, has said, "Here's an area I'd like you to go check out.
yeah,
Please go
yeah,
handle this." And so, for me, Yohai is going to keep living on because he's an integral part of this town, and so that's great. Yeah, and so that's to Paul's point there. I like that my retired character still has his hand in the stew there. I like that a lot.
yeah. Um, I'll have to check that out. I think I got something going on the 23rd, but that's cool. Legion of Myth is cool. Check them out if you guys haven't. They also do a lot of long form discussions and flip throughs on books. Like they did, I think a flip through on like Hyperborea, and like they go through
Mhm.
everything in the book, and
Yeah,
it's
you
just
go pretty deep
uh,
into it.
it's
This
like
is a
I've seen
podcast,
some of it.
I'm assuming?
hours
I've
and
never.
hours. Yeah, they're
Okay.
on YouTube. They're on
Okay, cool. I'll
YouTube.
check it out.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's really long. Like, I mean, they'll go like 4 hours and have like 3 parts. So it'd be like a 12-hour thing where they're going through like
Awesome.
character creation and everything bit by bit.
They're
It's
talking
really
about D&D. I'm down for that.
yeah. No, it's definitely cool. So
So
so that's
what
cool.
what did you mean like you don't have NPCs, Jason? What does that
So
mean?
so I the way that I run
Or
my campaign is because it's like wilderness exploration and stuff. I set
Mhm.
it up originally so that the town is just a town and it's there for characters to go and they can, put money into, leveling up and like buy, sundries and like all that stuff. But there's no like stores or like NPC names or anything like that. And the reason I did it like that is because I wanted to reinforce the part that there is no adventure to be had in town. This campaign is about
Oh, okay.
going out and doing exploration and stuff. And for me anyway, as soon as I start naming NPCs and naming the shop and naming things, like people are going to spend time in game, like in town doing things. And I don't want people to think that there's stuff to do there. Like that was my kind of reasoning behind it. And I
That's
know maybe
so it's
that's the
kinda like,
wrong way of doing
West
it, but
March's way of doing
yes,
it, like,
That's
West Marches
exactly
is
how
like
it
that.
was. Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah,
I went
exactly.
into this game knowing that. And it's like I think this third time I said it, I just want to be really clear. I am not in any way trying to crap on Roger's game or his DM style. This is a West March game. In fact, your first episode when you were solo, you talked about
Mhm.
that. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
the next episode where we all joined you, that was the very first thing we talked about. This is a West March
Mhm.
style. Here's how we're
Yep.
running it. So it's not because it's not laziness on Roger's part or a lack of world building. It's nothing like that. This is a West March, and so like Roger said, the purpose is we're in town, we're meeting, we're going out to go explore. That's what we are doing. So that's why. But as our characters have grown, and like Paul said, we were making boatloads of money, and I wasn't really interested in just flat leveling Yohai. I like playing mid level. Like Roger
It's the
will
best
say, like,
levels.
for Roger, I think like levels 1 through 4 are like prime playing for him. But for me, it's like levels 4 through 8, maybe 9. Those are the levels
Yeah.
that I really enjoy playing because you're not just killing orcs all the time. There are things out that are more powerful and more interesting to fight that you can as an 8th level character. So
But
instead of
you're
just
also
spending
not,
all my gold, go ahead.
uh you're not a god either, so it's
Yes,
like, it's
exactly.
still that challenge is still
Right.
there. Yeah.
My goal for Yohai was to get him to be 13th level so that I could cast Resurrection because his brother-in-law died and he told his sister that he was going to resurrect her husband. And that was the only reason I had any interest in making Yohai 13th level. I think it might have been Edgelord or it might have been Death Angel that said once you can cast Resurrection, like there's no stakes in the game. Oh, Joe the fighter died. I've got this. Bing, and he's alive again. So what if he died? There's no loss there. And I agree with that statement. I like the idea of being able to do it, but when you can do it, even if the material components like 10,000 gold and diamond dust or something like that, it's expensive. We can still get that, especially at that level. So it makes the
Sure.
game not as challenging or not as thrilling anymore. So I
Right.
never wanted him to be that high, but I like being able to do stuff. And when you're mid level, you can do stuff, and that's what I like. So anyway, and so instead of spending all of my money on gold, I spent my money on developing the town. And Roger told me straight up, you can do this. I have no problem with it. Put it on the table. I'm happy to have it,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to do anything with it. I was like, no problem, dude. I've got this.
Yeah, and I
So
was hoping
go
that
ahead.
other people would jump in on that and say, "Okay, I want to do this." And and some people have done minor things, but
Mhm.
it's not to that extent because they just care about, "Hey, I want to get, um, XP and whatever," and that's it. Like that's been the thing. I want to cover a couple comments here. One, this is this is no surprise whatsoever. We knew that it probably didn't have to be stated, but we love you anyway. Um, two, you mentioned yeah, on downtime is Demony. I can't say that word, so feel free to laugh at me. But yeah, I have that book right here, which is cool. It's a good book. It's definitely a good book. It's got a
Is that a
bunch of
DCC book? It looks
downtime
like a
stuff. It
DCC
looks like
thing.
a DCC book. No, no, no. It's pretty much any OSR game. No, it's any really any game, but I mean it's geared, I think, towards like old school essentials.
Is
Um,
it POD or
I
what?
think it's
Where does that come from?
it's definitely POD. I got it
BX. Okay.
a while ago.
Okay.
BX is that's what Edgeler is saying. It's BX.
Cool.
So yeah, which is, I mean, but it works for everything. And they've got a bunch of downtime stuff that you can do. As far as there's different locations, there's stuff for like building things, trade goods and all of that. Um,
Cool. I'll have to get
and
that.
stuff to do the crime and punishment sections and
I read
um,
that. Yes. Okay. I must have seen that because I read the crime and punishment part on it. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. I like
there's
this.
like, yeah, and investments and all of that, and
Okay.
there's
Cool.
a whole thing, creating magic items and all
I'll
that
have to
stuff.
look it up then.
It is a good it is a really good book. Yeah.
Is it better as a GM reference, or will me as a player get something
No,
out
I
of it?
think a player, like, I think if we were to say like, hey, um, you know, we're going to use like these areas in this book, like, I mean, it would be good to have, um, if you're thinking about getting it or whatever.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll
So,
check it
I
out.
mean, but they give you, like ideas to do with, what to do with your money and all of that. So it is, it is kind of cool.
Okay.
So I don't know what you mean by that, Edgelord. I don't understand the comment. Um, yeah. So there's, yeah, stuff like that. It's all kinds of things
Cool.
in the book. But no, yeah, it's cool. It's got like more simplified building stuff than the Judges Guild book that we use for for building and stuff. But yeah, it's neat. It's got some cool stuff in it. Um, so there's that. But yeah, I definitely have it and kind of look at it every now and again. Um, yeah, so we're going to be switching to Shadow Dark temporarily because of the TPK. So I ran a one shot last week, so I'm going to be gone this weekend, and then so starting next week, I'm going to do like 5 or 6 sessions of Shadow Dark in the same world. It's got to be in a different place because mostly because of the money value difference. Um, you know, yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah,
so
that was something that you and I talked about last week. That the
yeah,
money. Yeah.
so there's definitely gonna have to be it's gonna have to be a separate place than everything else. Uh, so I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it
Yeah.
work so they'll be everywhere else because we have players that you know is like they're really. There was one time that I let them take a loan out to basically get to level 3, and because I wanted to run like a level 3 adventure type of thing, and then the players have sort of like, I don't want to say taken advantage of because I
I'll
put
say
it
it.
out there. Yeah, but I put it out there and like didn't stop it and say, hey, this is only a one time only thing, and
Yep.
whatever. So now they're like, oh, we can just be, and so when as soon as I mentioned Shadow Dark, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna play this. We're gonna start level 1. We'll be somewhere else. And one of the players was like, oh, but we can take that loan out and like get it. And I go, no, it's not gonna happen. And there'll be reasons for that in the game that I don't want to spoil right now. Um, but and I'm still working on some of it, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, Todd, low level adventures are my favorite. Yeah, me too. Me too. That's definitely where I'm at.
Yeah. And I like low level adventures. I've
Yeah.
said that a few weeks ago. I've thoroughly enjoyed playing my new now deceased ranger being low level. It's been great. But I like mid level because I feel like there's more you can do, but
Yeah.
there's still stuff that you can't do that makes it, there's still that thrill there.
Yeah. Yeah. And no, and that's, yeah, I get it. And I understand like the hit point thing, especially like
Hmm.
it's, you know, you don't want players to die in one hit. Like that's a problem. I totally understand that. And so at like fourth, fifth level, you can come across a couple giants and not get just, massacred,
Yeah.
in
But
3
you
rounds.
could still, but you
Um,
can, things can go poorly and you can
right.
still
You
get stomped
can.
by just a couple of ogres.
You can, but a
If you
fighter can like at least like take like 2 hits before you drop,
Mhm. Yep.
Like
And if
even
he's
if they're
backed
good
up by
hits.
a cleric of the same level, that gives him another 2 rounds to
Yeah,
go. So
right.
yeah,
Whereas whereas if he's first, second, third level, you know, first or
yep,
second level, one hit he's done. Third level,
yep,
if he gets hit twice, he's gone.
yeah,
That's the thing. Yeah, yeah. Scary low level makes it fun. No, I agree with that. I agree with that. Um, yeah, more thinking at low level, lack of resources. I guess that's part
yes,
of it for me too. And it's maybe not this group, per se, but maybe some of it. But like in the past, it's like whenever you get, when you have 50 hit points, like it doesn't matter. Like you're doing the math, and you're like, oh, he's rolling 2d8 plus 10, right? So it's like, oh, the most he can get is a 26, and on average he's going to get an 18 or whatever. So it's like, oh, I could take 3 hits or whatever from this guy. And so like you just run up and you just run into it because the math. The math says that you're going to survive 2 rounds before you have to, pull away
hmm,
or whatever. So, I think that's like a problem of like higher level play. And I'm not saying all the players do that, but um, yeah. So that's another reason why I think low level's better.
Yeah.
Personal opinion, I guess, but yeah. Um, but
Before
yeah,
we move on, hold on one second.
yeah. Well,
Um,
did I
I
miss
just want
something?
to
Or
I just want no. I just want to shout out Todd. Is
yeah,
a real good guy, and if you guys want to see like some really crazy, awesome terrain table builds for role playing games, check out his Facebook page, which is Creative Adventure Tables. I'm on there, and it's just tons of great stuff there. It's a really good community, and his YouTube channel, good stuff.
cool.
can you want to post a link to his YouTube in the chat, and
Yeah,
I'll
let me.
Can he do it? Can Todd put it in the chat? I don't know
I
how
don't
that works.
No, it'll probably
I
get
don't
deleted
think
because
Okay,
yeah.
YouTube thinks it's spam or some bullshit.
sure. Okay,
Let me see here. I think
Yeah,
this
high
is
level
the right
keeps you
one.
so insulated from death. Death chances of victories feel hollow. So yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I agree to an extent. Um, that was never a problem that we had in Roger's campaign. Uh, our group caught so many freaking beatdowns over the past 2 years. A lot was just incredibly bad luck, and then Roger's dice will catch on fire, and I'm like, oh god, here we go again.
Oh, that worked.
Um,
Todd,
so
we could see the
great,
link. Sometimes YouTube, if you try and post a link and send somebody's chat, it won't go there. That's sorry to
Delete.
interrupt, Jason. I just want
no, you're fine, man.
to
Yeah,
the two things I posted there. That's a link to the YouTube channel. Todd obviously posted his link there, and then that's his Facebook group.
Yeah, he's got
Called
some great, great
Creative
stuff.
Adventure.
Super
Um,
inspiration.
and Todd, we're like,
yeah, no kidding.
I learned this early on, in doing this stuff and running the convention, and everybody that's in this hobby is more than happy to, help out everybody else and spread the word and all of that. And I mean, and that's pretty much how I met Takato, and like, you know, when you see something that's awesome, you
Share the news.
call it out, share it.
Yep.
Like,
Bloodworth said this last week in his podcast, although he messed it up. A rising tide lifts all ships.
yeah,
Spread the
yeah,
love, man. Help
you're
each other
right,
out. This
right.
this hobby that we have is ours to keep and ours to elevate. So do it.
What? Todd's got a C64 shirt. Todd, I want to know if you backed for one of the gold plated ones that they're making there. I want to know. I want to know
That's
because
just
I considered it.
so
I
terrible.
considered it.
A gold-plated Commodore 64.
No, it's not gold plated. It's like it's a gold colored thing, and then they have
Okay,
a clear
so
one.
does it just look like a Commodore 64, or does it actually have the processing power of a
No,
C64?
no. It's better than a
Okay.
It's got a higher processing power. So
Commodore had some
Perry
amazing
Fractic,
games. I remember playing Larry Bird and Magic Johnson one-on-one.
yeah,
But yeah,
Perry Fractic, a YouTuber that does was it retro recipes or something? He does like electronics and stuff. He's a big Commodore fan. He ended up he wanted to remake it. And so he went to try and get a license for the Commodore 64s, and he basically followed the companies that own the rights to it, and they basically told him, "Hey, we'll sell you the company." And so he made a big deal and all of this, and now he's like CEO. So they're actually remanufacturing. Yeah, so it's an FPGA processor. So it's like it's a brand new thing, but it looks like the old Commodore 64. And they have a clear one with like lights. That's like the second. They have the normal looking one, a clear one with like lights and stuff, and then Matt, and then the gold like edition one, and it's like $400 or $500 for that one. And it's really cool, and it'll play all the original stuff. You can do all the original code, and it'll also like run some like I don't know if it'll run like higher end games, but it's definitely faster and everything else. It's not like a complete.
It's the Sega Genesis is nowhere near as old as the C64, but they every now and then release one of the consoles that have basically it's an emulator that looks like a Sega Genesis. Man, I snatched up that Genesis. There are so many good games on that thing, man. I love that system.
Yeah, that's cool. And I've got a
Wasteland. Oh my god, dude! I spent so many hours playing Wasteland, dude. I love that game.
Wasteland is good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got a little Raspberry Pi that I've got connected to my TV. It's got a bunch of like old games and stuff on it.
So
I got a controller, and I mean, I rarely use it, but
I played Wasteland on my parents' Apple IIe.
Yeah,
boy,
good stuff,
man. Okay, this will be a segue that will last for hours. We should get back on topic.
Amiga one too. We'll do old video game systems. We'll do that for a
television, ColecoVision.
Oh, let us know. Let us know if you guys want us to do an old.
I think the answer is yes.
Yeah. Old video. I'm writing it down. Old video game consoles. Yeah. So we'll go like from the 80s back or something.
Excellent.
So that's how that's gonna go. We were somewhere. I don't know. Oh yeah, Todd. Check Todd's channel out. I'm gonna do that before I lose it here. And
I was rambling about something that didn't matter. So
definitely check out Todd's channel, and I'm gonna check it out too, and we'll figure something out. And Todd, at some point we're gonna do a painting thing, and I consider doing background music. Okay, sorry. I clicked on the link and it started playing background music into my ears. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll do some kind of thing together. We'll do something. I want to do some terrain builds, maybe some cheap terrain builds on stream at some point. So we'll see.
He'd be a great guy to talk to about like setting up a table and so like his stuff. If you go see it, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, come stream it from Basement Arcade. All originals restored or repaired. No arcade one-up stuff. Maybe we'll do that, Mike. Maybe we'll do that. Oh, look at this. And right on time to keep us on schedule.
Track.
No tangents.
I was going to sit this one out, but man, I had to get back in here.
Tell me you jumped in just to get us back on track, and then you're leaving.
I saw the thing was downtime activities, so of course you're talking about old school video game consoles. Why not?
Listen, I mean, you're the only one that keeps us on the rails. We can't do it. Ken, Paul's calling you out.
I tried to get us back on track. I failed.
It tried. Ken, welcome.
I didn't prepare any notes.
We're talking about
you got a list of downtime activities.
We're talking about downtime. We're kind of winging it. No,
Okay.
I wrote a bunch of things down, and I tried, but you know how I am. I'm like a squirrel. You know what I mean? I see something and I'm just gone,
Jump after it.
gone the other way. So
Yep.
yeah, downtime. We talked about uh, downtime and Demnizy. I don't know. This book here. I don't know if you've seen that book before,
I
Ken.
haven't. I remember it being mentioned though.
It's
Pretty
got
good.
some cool stuff in it. Yeah, yeah. You'll have to flip through it one
Okay.
of these days. And we were talking about switching to Shadow Dark. Coming for a few weeks,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that I wanted to bring up that that they are heavy on carousing
Shadow
for
Dark, yes.
for XP and stuff. Yeah. So you definitely like
Shadow?
come
Oh,
back,
yeah.
you spend some money on on a carousing chart, and basically however much money you spend, you get a bonus to the roll. So in order to
Oh,
carouse, if you spend 30 gold, it's a +0. You spend 100 gold, it's a +1, and then all the way up to 1,800 gold, it's a +6. And it basically explains like how big the party is at that point. Um, so like if you spend
the
100
party
gold,
being like the revelry, right?
the
Not
revelry,
the
sorry,
adventure.
yeah, that should be like for 100 gold, it's a full day and night of revelry, gambling, and recounting your exploits. At 1,800 gold, it's 2 legendary weeks of drinking and debauchery, widespread enough to take over a whole city. It attracts countless celebrants, including famous nobles and bards. The streets run red with wine. And then,
I Yeah, I was gonna say
there's a
I,
chart.
I I think that's great. Yeah, what's the chart?
So the chart here only goes from 1 to 14 plus. And so I believe in Chubby Funster's got like an extra book that has like a couple more carousing tables and stuff on it. But um, for example, like so in Shadow Dark, it should be mentioned that you need 10 times the next level's XP,
Okay.
10 times the level that you're going for. Yeah, I'm not saying that right. The level that you're going for times 10 is the number of XP that
Okay.
you need.
So 20
So
to get to 2, 30 to get
20
to
to get to
3.
2, but then it resets to 0.
Yeah.
So it's 20 to get to 2, and then you reset to
50.
0 and you need 30, right? Okay, so carousing, so if you roll a D8 on the carousing table and it goes up to 14, right? So that +6, with the spending 1,800 gold helps. So
Yeah.
1 is you wake up blearily in your bed and you gain 2 XP,
Okay.
right? Like a 6, the Thieves Guild build you for 5% of your total wealth, you gain 4 XP. A 10 is an angry wizard casts a deadly spell at you, but you reflected it off your cup, gain 5 XP and a luck token. So there's things like that. Like 14 plus, you wake up deep inside the local ruler's stronghold, holding one of their priceless family heirlooms. Footsteps approach, gain 6 XP and a 90 to 100 item from your treasure table if you escape.
That's
So
pretty good.
so there's things like that, yeah. Um, so there's definitely got some cool stuff there for downtime, and that like the higher you go, the longer it is that it lasts. So there's definitely like some time passing there from a night to days,
Right, right.
So
weeks.
how would our group handle that? Like you said, it's a 2 week party. Everybody shows up, but we play day to day. Day for day every week.
Yeah.
So
So I'm considering one of two things. I'm considering breaking the calendar thing, which I don't like at
Yeah.
all. Kind of shocked by that. I don't like that at all. Or I mean, it's just hey, like if you go carousing for 2 weeks, like I mean, for a 2 week thing, you need 1,800 gold, and that in Shadow Dark, that's a lot.
Yeah.
okay,
But um, you know, but if it's 2 weeks, then I think we say that the entire town is having a huge party for 2 weeks, and maybe maybe that means like some stores aren't open all the time, or there's there's stuff going on in the town. It's harder to get stuff, or whatever. And
I
if
think
it's
for those 2 weeks, we're basically like
it's 2 weeks out, you're
sailing
out.
or coming back from the mountain or whatever, but it's partying
Yeah,
instead. So we just give us a 2-week calendar and play our
yeah,
alts next week or whatever.
yeah. And play our alts for the next week or next couple weeks or whatever. But that's like 2 weeks, and that's like higher later, So
Yeah,
Okay.
we never got to the point where we did that one,
Okay.
the 2
yeah,
week one.
right. So,
I mean, you
so you
could, but we never did. Like it just, but we didn't
Yeah.
play. We're not doing one. We didn't do 1-for-1 like you guys are.
sure.
Yeah,
didn't
my
matter as
only
much.
Shadow
We just-
Darker experience has been at cons doing one shot, so carousing
Yeah.
has never come up. So
Hmm.
I have no point of reference for it other than
Yeah,
the
it's pretty
brief
neat.
that I looked at.
Honestly, if like it's a neat way to like, especially for like fighter types and stuff, which usually they don't have crap to spend their money on, so they might as well go blow it on hookers and booze. So like go have a good time. But
Yeah.
it's a good way to take care
Yeah.
of that money, and you can honestly earn more XP carousing sometimes than you do
Yes.
adventuring. Like
Yeah.
adventuring to get the gold to go back so you can get XP for carousing.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
great, and I like the thought of it. And it also
It was fun.
sounds one of the things that Roger and I talked about for downtime. I can't believe how relevant this is. In the I think it's the first edition AD&D DM's guide. Guy Gax talks about PCs have to cough up 100 gold per level per week for cost of living, or maybe it was per month. It was something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that really pissed me off. And because Roger had talked about doing it, and I was like, I have no interest whatsoever in paying an existence tax. And in the book it talks about adventurers are they just piss away their money, and I was like, okay, that's bullshit. An adventurer might live like that. A few adventurers might live like that. But what about my erudite wizard who just wants to sit in the library and read for a bit? That's his idea of downtime. Or my cleric who walks along the city tending to the poor and needy. That's his downtime. That just because I'm an adventurer doesn't mean I don't have any damn common sense. So it was the idea of being forced to do it with no bonus or in any kind of payment other than the fact that I get to exist in this world. I really did not like. I mean, like seriously, does not like it. So this sounds like kind of the same thing, except instead of being like, give me your money or else, it's like, hey, spend your money, get XP, and have a damn good time doing it. I'm like,
You pull the slot machine and get
great
it.
to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah.
I
And
want
like,
more than
like
14
Todd said-
options.
sorry, go ahead, Ken. What?
Oh, I was just gonna say I want more than 14 options already.
I guarantee
Well,
you
more
that
than
all
14
the other,
yeah, right.
all the Shadowrun
Yeah.
supplements that have come out, I would be shocked if they all didn't have their own party.
Shadow
book
Dark.
tables.
Yeah. No,
Because
it,
like as a DM, that's like, oh, this is gonna be so much fun. So you write up these new tables.
they definitely do.
think
And I
it's gotta
think
do that.
I think Chubby Funster's got in his book, I think he separated it by class or something. I
Cool.
think. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, that's like Todd says, it's a way to convert gold to XP and whatnot. But like they used to do. Yeah, and it's kind of a fun way. Shadowrun Ken, yeah, that's definitely on my short list to run.
Yeah.
I definitely want to run that, especially after talking to Chubby about it. It seems
A quick tangent from me. Jason, is it Blacklight? Or
Yes, sir.
Blacklight is
4
the
weeks in a row. What can I tell you about Blacklight? What would you like to know?
it's Shadow Dark, right?
Yes, sir.
yes.
And it's modern. And it has
Yes.
portals that go to strange places, right?
That is correct. They're called tears, but
I
they're.
want to leave open the option here that a team needs to kill someone summoning demons in another realm, and we go get revenge for our former characters by coming through from the modern world into his world just to kill the one necromancer or sorcerer or whatever. That's my proposal for the one shot. Unless you've got something written up already.
No, I'm fine with that. So yeah. I
Yeah,
have,
back on
I have
track.
a ton of stuff bouncing around in my
Cool
head,
stuff.
but I haven't written any of it down.
I'm excited either way. I got
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be awesome. No, I like Blacklight. It seems really good, really easy. So yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting, I think. So
Awesome.
yeah, fun times. But yeah, we're going to try that. And yeah, so Chthonic Music says some of the supplement carousing are
Yes.
not revelry, but charity or collective books are the type of activities. Yeah,
And
I think I've
I
seen some of
love
that,
that
which is fine.
stuff. And,
Yeah.
and that's what I was saying a lot. Yohai, my cleric. I even told Roger that's okay. I'm not going to take Yohai out this week. I'm going to play this guy. Yohai's working the temple. He's got a ton of healing spells. He's he's the healer. He's going to walk around town mending broken arms and tending to the sick children. So I like it if that's a cleric carousing table or just an alternate carousing table. I like that.
That's great.
And
Yeah.
and the one Roger talked about, you wake up in the Lord's armory and you've got something in your hand. Like I instantly saw that, but what I saw was like a naked fighter with a hangover. And because you get the magic item if you escape, but instead of like trying to fight your way out, you're like laughing, running through the hall with this 1,000 gold chalice in your hand. And so like the guards don't want to kill you. They don't have their swords out. They're just trying to tackle you to get the chalice out of your hand. So it becomes like everybody's having a good time laughing at this goofy guy running through the hall. I just like, oh, that's so cool.
Then you're running down the hall getting chased. You like roll a thing, and then it's like, okay, let's see what Ken did on his bender.
You crash in through the door, and there's a maiden waiting, there, and she screams, and you scream because you're naked, and then she looks at you, and you look down, and you're like, I've got to go because it could just lead to that would be a freaking riot to run and play, and not a single sword is swung, no orcs are killed, but everybody's laughing, having a good time. I'd think that'd be a hoot.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And I think like I think just Chubby's Game Master guide for Shadow Dark, I think is what it's called. I think he's got a bunch of carousing tables in there that are like optional things. So
You're
I
talking about
think that
Shadowrun?
would work. Shadow Dark. Yeah.
Not Shadow Rim itself.
Not
like a
Shadow
separate-
Rim. No,
a
not
separate
Shadow Rim.
supplement.
Oh, he has
He's-
separate
he's got
tables. Okay, I see. Okay,
He's got a
like
GM
a
book, and
supplement.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
I
okay.
looked. I don't see it on my shelf. I think it's over there on the other side of my chair.
Okay.
but,
Sorry, I missed the
can't
first
look
part
at
of that.
No. That's fine. So I think that's I think that would be cool because you're like Ken, and I saw this too. Like if you're rolling a D8 plus a fixed number and there's 14 choices on the list, like after the first time that everybody does it, like it's going to get very samey.
Yeah, it's only so many times you can deflect a wizard spell, and that'd be interesting, right?
Yes.
With a cup.
Agreed.
Yeah, with right. So so that'd be really really cool to have some of that extra stuff. But fun times. So that's kind of one way that Shadow Dark does it. And so that'll be interesting to try that out. And of course we'll need a city for that. And so I'm going to work on that. And Ken, I don't know if you caught everything, but yeah, I'm going to work on fixing it so that we have a city that exists.
That's crazy, dude.
At least a small city, on this continent. And I've got an interesting idea for that, and I think it's going to work out good. But
this is 1,000 years prior in the civilization that we are currently exploring the ruins of.
Oh my God! Can you imagine that? That would cool. Really, I considered doing that, but I also don't want to like remove everybody from the current events and like the world building and like the world kind of discovery that we've already done, because at that point it's like starting over. And I really, really, really don't want to do that. So, that's that. Other than that, so that's something that's cool. So getting XP and stuff and taking time. We've kind of talked about building things in downtime, and that's something that a few of the characters have done. And I wish more characters, would kind of do that, or more players, I guess, would do that sort of thing. But building things in downtime, especially that help like the group, or I guess civilization or whatever along. Um, like Ken and I talked about, like, he wanted to build like a lumber mill, in like a forest tax. Hey, so we can get, wood, and we can start building stuff up, and all of that. And I think that's cool. We've done work on some quarries, so that there's stone available in some places. I think that's awesome stuff, because that's stuff that kind of directly benefits, you know, the party, as well as, as well as civilization. But yeah, I mean everyone, but yeah.
If you had more players that did like get into that stuff, would you switch to like some more domain style play? Like
I
somebody
I
comes to
would
the
love to
church
do
to
that.
petition Yohai for
Yeah.
aid or whatever, you know what I mean? I think that would be really cool.
I would love to do that. And I've already had talks with Jason that now that he's like retired, like his character, like if he wants to send people out on quests for stuff, I am more than happy to have that happen.
Mhm.
That's
And
cool.
that goes for any
That's really
player
cool.
in my game that wants to get into that. And there are people in the game that are probably not going to do that. And there are players in the game that don't ever want to retire their characters. They want to be a 40th level fighter, and but you know yeah, and I have no problem playing the domain game. I have no problem, at a point where if somebody says, hey, I want 100, 200, whatever, militia to go and, like, exterminate these orcs or whatever. I have zero problem saying, "Hey guys, do you guys want to adjudicate this battle like this week or whatever?" And setting up like a ton of, miniatures on a table, and use like a different system, a miniature system, and do Warhammer style, whatever. Basically, play this war game out, to see
Yeah.
how the outcome of that goes. I have no problem doing that if that's what the group wants to do. If
Right.
if Jason says, "Hey, I want to conscript 200 guys to go kill this orc thing," but he has no interest in playing a war game and all of that, then I have zero problem saying, "Okay, there's there's 200 orcs, there's 200 militiamen, um, so I'm gonna roll a d20 for each group and see what the numbers show, or maybe roll a d20 with advantage for the armed soldiers because they're trained,
Mhm.
and then just roll a d20 for the orcs and say, oh, okay, these people got a you know like a 17, and the orcs got a 15, so maybe they're evenly matched, there's equal losses on both sides, and then they win, obviously, and push back the orcs or whatever. Whereas, like, if
Right.
the soldiers roll like a 20, right, and the orcs get like a 1, like, I mean, that's like a total defeat, type of situation. Or whatever. Like, I mean, I have no problem doing it however anybody really wants to do it. You know what I mean? I mean, if you want to play rock paper scissors to see who wins the you know what I mean, like,
War.
it doesn't matter. But I got no problem doing that all on the table, uh,
That's
if,
cool.
if people want to do that. So I would love, like to do like more domain play stuff. And
Yeah,
I
I'd like to
might
get into that.
I might try and run a game that's basically geared just towards domain play. But I don't know how that would work with like the current group. I don't know. I mean, I gotta ask to
It'd be
do like a
interesting.
one shot, basically, for like a world building thing, and say, hey, everybody's in charge of, you know, so many things. Like, here's 1,000 soldiers, like, and here's your kingdom. Like, what do you, and then throw a goal out, hey, everybody's looking for the MacGuffin stone to, you know, because the MacGuffin stone is the only thing that can save your people from this plight. So everybody's trying to fight, or try and get the MacGuffin stone, before anybody else does, or get it away from somebody or whatever. It's I mean, it wouldn't be called the MacGuffin stone, but I mean, let's be honest,
It's pretty much a MacGuffin stone, right?
yeah, I mean, call it how you see it. But that's my stuff on the uh on that end. I would love to do the domain stuff. I think it'd be cool. Maybe that's too long of an answer for you, but
that's a really good
No.
use of like downtime stuff too. Is
yeah,
tending to larger projects and provinces or whatever. Yeah, I think I mean the idea of spending a couple of weeks between bigger activities or more like focused activities like going into a dungeon really helps to fictionally explain why are you so much better now than you were when you walked into that dungeon, right?
yeah, yeah,
um, I've never been a fan of the idea of like, oh, I just killed the 33rd goblin that I needed to kill, and so I'm going to take a nap, and when I wake up I'll be able to hit twice instead of
yeah.
once. So
Yeah, and that's why I like say like you can only level up in town or whatever, and it sort of gives you that feeling of like, okay, you're really it wasn't the goblin that did it, but you're going back to town and maybe like doing
yeah,
some training. There's a training montage that happens,
yeah,
or something there.
yeah. The
But I
carousing's nice. I like you meet
carousing
some
is
people
nice.
that
Yeah,
teach you a sword trick. You have
yeah,
a chance to
yeah, some cool
sharpen the
stuff.
sword. You study a book, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, and we mentioned that earlier. We talked about the group that goes out and they're out for they go to do one dungeon to another, and they're basically they leave town at first level, and then like 30 days later in game, they come back to town and they're 20th level. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They've gone through all
Yeah.
these just dungeons and stuff, and it's just crazy.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's like, oh, you guys were just gone a month ago. Now you come back and you're all like
Yeah, I hated
super
that so
powerful
much.
things and stuff. Yeah.
I'm
Um,
taking an active effort in my home game now to like, it's not a one for one time thing like you're doing, but it is like, all right, between each adventure, between a week and a month has probably passed, and that explains like some of what's going on here, and it gives me
yeah,
a chance to
yeah,
like, hey, you know, uh, between then and now, this big thing happened, this thing got resolved, people ate supplies you got to take care of. So I got a little like town
yeah.
mini game to do for downtime. Uh, but it'd be hard to go back to the just go to take a nap and level up
The
system.
slog and yeah, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's interesting. And I think the uh the the Lord of the Rings RPG there, I think it's the Free League one. They do like a downtime thing, right? Is that the one that does the like the seasonal thing, like you're going adventuring in the spring and that, and then like
Pendragon does that.
was it Pendragon? This okay. I
Yeah,
thought the one of the
like I
Lord
think
of
a
the Rings
whole
games did it, but
you go do a camp. I'm not an expert. I've only been told this, but like you go do whatever the campaign is, and then between that and the next one, it's like a year has passed.
Yeah,
yeah,
we did that.
yeah,
And you roll for like, did you have a baby?
yeah,
Did your
right.
other baby
It's
die?
happened,
Did
yeah,
the
yeah.
uh yeah, leveling up is not the right word for it. It was like time passes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's kind of cool too. Although I like more like a directed thing, I think, than just rolling on random tables to see what happened. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
but this way players can say, okay, hey, I want to work on this. So this is going to be my month long thing or whatever. And um, but I don't know if it would work to do it like between adventures. Like if I changed my game and wasn't doing it in like a real time thing and just did it. So I said, okay, here's like the adventure or whatever that you guys want to do today, right? Or whatever. And we go out, we do this dungeon, we do this quest, we do this thing. And then when you come back, say, okay, now there's like a month, like I don't want to say force like a month on people, but basically have that kind of thing set up where that's the normal thing to do, where you'd come back and like, okay, now we're going to take a month off. And then everybody's got 30 days like between every session or whatever, or every few sessions, to basically dictate, you know, hey, I'm building a house or I'm starting a family or maybe I have a list of like, so many things that people can do during the downtime thing. And, maybe pick three of them and you can, you advance a clock or something or check a box or whatever to get toward that goal or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if that should be like forced on people or you know, what do you guys think
Yeah, I
Which
about
don't
that?
know.
which part do you
Doing
mean?
like having a month, like forcing like a month to say like every time we go out, we do a module, right? Whenever we finish, that takes us 2, 3 sessions. Like there's automatically when we come back to town, you guys are in town automatically for like a month before we go out again, instead of like going out the next day to like
It,
promote downtime activity or
it
whatever.
for me, it would kind of depend on it would depend on the mechanic that we used.
Yeah, yeah.
You would have to break away from the real time
Ooh,
thing.
yes,
You
yes.
said that because I mean, you could still do it with the real time, but it would require secondary or tertiary characters to play during the primary character's downtime. So it would be like a cycle. I wouldn't have a problem with doing that, but I feel like it would it would turn into kind of a slog. I think,
Hmm.
but if we're not playing, one day for one day, I think it would work just fine. I mean, that's kind of how regular D&D is
Hmm.
run in my experience. You guys go
Mhm.
out, you come back to the table a week later. Okay, 6 months have passed. 6 months, yeah, yeah. Well, you did all this in that 6 months. You haven't just been sitting at home. So I would have no problem with doing that. Um,
Yeah, I mean, we do that. That's basically how we do it. I mean, it's not like a month or it's not like written in stone, but and
Hmm.
again, sometimes I'm not very good about it because they go from one thing to the next because it's an ongoing thing. Like maybe they
Mhm.
figure out that, oh, the next big piece. Like what they're doing now is we're basically kind of filling downtime because they came back to their home base, their town, and they're like, okay, we're gonna go to war in the spring, but like we have a few months now. What are we doing? And some of the guys, one in particular, wanted me to just fast forward the time, and I was like, nope, nope. There's other things that I want to like throw in here. So they're doing that. They're starting to do that now. But um, yeah, I mean, I think it makes it pretty easy, and it gives like say the wizard character, it helps them because like the one wizard we have, like he likes to prepare a lot of scrolls to supplement his magic. So, but that takes time. Like
Yeah.
and
Right.
he needs that time to like he could get to the point where with all the things that he wants to do between potions and magic items and his own, he actually just got his own tower, inherited it, and all that stuff it feasibly could be like, hey, we're gonna go do this, but you're you can't. Like you're busy unless you want to drop all that stuff all together and tag
Interesting.
along. You might not be able to do it.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thought that Cathonic and Paul
Yep.
Paul kind of back that up. Like the average adversaries need to have like their clocks too of like they're working toward their own goals, and so you got to check those off too in downtime. Because I've always disliked it where like and I've been in games, especially when I was younger and stuff, where you're
Excuse me.
playing a game and the DM is, there's like some demon that's been summoned and is gonna like rain terror like everywhere, and like the players are like, okay, yeah, but we gotta like, we gotta like go to town and like rest and then heal up, and we're gonna write a bunch of scrolls, and it's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you
Yeah.
like go back
Yeah.
you go back to like the fiery pit, and the demon's like like looking at his watch, tapping his foot,
Yep.
like
You're 2 weeks late.
I've been waiting
As
for
I
you
was
guys,
saying,
like what,
you'll all
it's
pay.
Yeah. Well,
like no, and
and
like
like in my
every
game,
day that they wait, like you start ticking off boxes, and like he's
right.
marching toward the closest town that's going to get decimated in 2 days, or whatever, like
Well,
so yeah, you definitely.
yeah, like my in my game, they were in the city and they learned about this kind of like serious threat to the city, but they also had other issues they needed to address. So they were like fixing to leave. Like we're just gonna leave and go deal with our own problems. And then it was like two of the characters, two of the players, like they went and kind of informed the powers that be, like, hey, you guys got this problem. Good luck. Here's what we know. And then they leave that office after talking to that NPC for a while. And like my son's ranger looks to the cleric and he's like, we can't leave. Like he came right out and said that they're not prepared to handle this. Right. So we
Yeah.
can't just leave these people. So they have kind of this moment, which was great. and they decide, well, nope, we're going to stay and fix this. And so they did, and that was set. Like, that's what they're doing. So then after the session, I was talking to my son, and we got talking about it. And I said, if you guys had left, which I was totally fine with, it didn't matter to me one way or the other. But if you had left, you would have later on heard reports that this place was screwed. Like, they would have been overtaken by the threat that was bothering them. Like, basically the whole city would have been encased in a giant spider web, and fucked, so it's like, it's good,
Yeah.
like, one, they had the free will to do what they wanted, but like, there's repercussions for it, and time wise, like, you can't, like you were saying, in some games they would have been able to just leave, go for a month, go deal with their stuff, and then come back, and it's like nothing happened here. And it was, what did they do for a month? What did the bad guys do for a month? Just hang out? Like, no,
Yeah. Chill.
Yeah.
they were gonna.
Yeah.
I had that happen early in the campaign. Like, you're talking about, like, being on the time, or like like a clock. They were sent to meet up with this merchant on the road. He wasn't allowed in town because he aggravated the town leader. So they had to go meet him on the road. And they get there and they just find, there's been some sort of battle here. Something happened. They track him into the woods, and I think they got into a fight or something. This was early on. They weren't very, probably, I don't know what level they were. They weren't probably even 5th level, probably. And got into a pretty good fight. So they got banged up pretty good. So they're like, we need to rest. Like, we can't go on. So they rest. No problem. Except the next day when they head out, they find the guy, and he was at this, they found the camp where he was basically tortured and killed. And he was like hanging there dead, nailed to a tree. And they were like, oops, because if they'd gone that night, they may have had a chance to rescue him, but it was a whole night went by.
Yeah.
Dead.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't see, a lot of that, or maybe it's just because I've played and, for so many years now. And a lot of it was when I was younger or whatever. And so people didn't, play like that or whatever. But I always remember, like, the bad guy, like, the story would be there. You know what I mean? It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
like that
It's
bad guy's
hard
gonna be
to do,
waiting
right?
on the other side of that door, no matter
well,
what.
the problem with that is, it's not very realistic, right? And it's
Sure,
not.
sure.
It kind of breaks the immersion, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I guess we had all the time in the world to do whatever we wanted. We could have run off and gained 10 levels and come back and really just mop the floor with them because we're so powerful. Like, no, you don't have that kind of time.
This is back to the old video game reference, but they just remade Dragon Warrior for I got it on the Xbox, but it's an NES game that I love to play. And there's a portal right before the final boss. There's a portal where, like, once you get there, it unlocks it from the beginning of the dungeon. And so you could just warp back to the beginning of the dungeon, then take the portal to the end boss's throne room. And so like you unlock that portal, and like you portal back to the beginning, and then teleport from there to town. You rest for the night,
Yeah.
get your HP.
He's just
and
hanging out
back.
in the castle or whatever.
You go sell all the stuff, and it's like, you could see the guy, you know what I mean? He's like 50 feet in front of you, but it doesn't trigger the thing until you talk to him. And it's like, yeah, you rest at night, you sell all the stuff, you get all, equip yourself with all the best stuff, you teleport back 50 feet in front of the guy, you cast all your protection spells,
Yeah.
everything, and and then you talk to him, and then you fight him.
The video game side of RPG, right?
Yeah, right. And and I've seen games like that, and in D&D.
All my early games were like that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Is
Everybody's
early. I haven't had that happen in really more modern times.
Well, I mean, most of the advice that you get starting out from, like, the core books that you would buy for almost any system, especially back then, would just tell you, like, here's how to balance an encounter. This is what makes a good boss fight. Here's how many encounters. Here's, and so if your party goes back and rests, that doesn't affect the size of the encounter. That doesn't, you still have this boss encounter written up, and you know you did a great job because you followed all the rules in the book. And yeah, there's not. I think newer games do a better job of going, hey, when you rest, these other things should be moving, right?
Yeah.
Bad guys have their
Yeah.
own ideas about what should happen in the world, and they're not waiting on you, right? So
Yeah, right, absolutely. And I think, I mean, there's something to be said. I think that there's a lot of games that don't really, sit down and like tell you, all of that. Like
yeah,
like that time is moving and that, evil plots should be constantly moving forward along with, like they don't stress that, like there's a lot of, hey, like you said, this is how you build an encounter. This is how encounters work. This is how that works. But they don't go and explain to you like, hey, that there needs to be like, 3 encounters that are, just under the player level and then, in order to get them to the appropriate thing so when they get to this, you can have this boss encounter and it's a little bit harder, instead of whereas if they hit this guy at full strength, he needs to be 2 levels higher or whatever it is to, to make up that difference.
I think a lot of that is because the earlier systems were you were literally going into a dungeon. And so to
Sure.
simulate time passing, they used the random encounter tables. Okay, my guys, the party's going to sleep for 8 hours because we have to. The DM's going to roll a few dice. If it comes upon a 6, you've got monsters.
Yeah.
So time is passing. But that didn't affect the larger dungeon. The bad guy at the end is still standing there with his staff waiting for you to walk in the door. And now he animates and attacks you. So, yeah. And so and that's, like you were saying, with newer games, with the evolution of game design, we have players and DMs are kind of expecting there to be some kind of time passing mechanic, so the world lives alongside the PC's actions.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, and I think that definitely needs to be in more books. So yeah, that's edgelord, and that's why you have the random encounter thing. Where like the more time PC spend, the more random encounters you get and all of that. So that's definitely A, B, and C team. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Todd.
Yeah, Todd. Thanks, Todd. Go
There
spend
is no
time.
spell to deflect wife aggro, so
Spend time with the wife. Yeah. Thanks for coming by. Hopefully, we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, he's a good dude. That was awesome.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, good stuff. What? So yeah, I wrote down a bunch of stuff: building things, repairing things, uh, planning things. I think that's another thing too. I think I kind of like the idea of having a downtime, like like a fixed downtime action or something where like you have, say, like every week you get like one action, right? And that might be the like, you know, tick a box on this building, right? So like you and the GM decide, okay, in order for this building to get done, you need, 10,000 gold and you need, 10 weeks of time. So like now you have these 10 check boxes or whatever, and or whatever it is, right? And then so like every week you've got to spend 1,000 gold and you check one of these boxes, and that's like one of your downtime activity, you know, things. And then like, so if you've got 3 weeks, you could say, okay, I want to check 3 of these boxes and, work toward this. But maybe if, you're on another thing, like you're trying to learn a spell, so you do that instead or whatever. And then you can
similar, like use a clock to represent effort towards something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then this way there's like a time thing where you can actually figure out. This way you don't have to go through and say like, okay, this building's going to take this long to make, and so I need to put this much time into it, and then it's going to take like this much time to learn a new spell, and that's going to be 14 days, and like, you know what I mean? Like I think it's easier to just say, okay, you get one activity a week, and here it is. Here's your options.
Early on, I hosed Joe over on accident, and I had no intention of doing this. He had wanted to
Did
build
you
a
hear this
vineyard.
story, Ken?
Oh.
I don't think so. Joe had wanted to build a vineyard. He was playing a cleric, and I was like, dude, that's an awesome idea. I love it because yes, please join me in the world building. And he was like, so how do I do it? And I was like, okay, well, first you're going to want to build your house, and it's a fieldstone house. That's what he said he wanted. So the first thing you have to do is you have to go plow the field. Then you're going to walk through the field, picking up all the stones and sort them large to small. And I gave him the entire rundown on how to build a fieldstone house. It takes 2 years to do because you have to lay the foundation out, let the rain and snow hit it, and then when it because the weight of the stone is what's settling. Because we're not pouring concrete, you're putting stone. And so, man, I was doing like the full medieval life simulator. And this goes back to a point that Paul made earlier.
Yeah, you'll get apples in like 8 to 10 years.
Yeah, and he was talking about wine, and I think vines, wine vines take 3 years before they begin producing viable grapes. And so I was like, yeah, so in about 4 years or so, you'll be able to press your first grapes, and then 10 years after that, you'll have a quality wine. And he was looking at me, and I swear to God, dude, Joe messaged Roger and said, I'm gonna leave the group. I don't want to do this. And Roger and I were both like, what? Why? What's going on? And he was like, I want to build a vineyard. I don't want to have to wait 10 years to get wine. And I was like,
and Roger's game, that's 10 real years.
Yes. And Roger was like, well, I'm not going to make you wait 10 years. And I was like, Joe, you asked me how to do it. You didn't say how do I do it in D&D world? Because my answer would have been, ask the DM, tell him you want to build a house.
You thought maybe he just wanted to go hand build a vineyard.
And tomorrow you're gonna have wine.
I gotcha.
And so I was one of the earlier points that Paul brought up was it's great when players want to add the simulator effect to it, but you don't want to trap the table in the medieval life simulator, which is what I do every single time. And so I will tell Roger, I want to do this, this, and this. What would you like me to do to make this happen? And he's like, pay 50,000 gold. Chunk. There's a bag of gold. The dwarves and druids run over. And everything's built. And I'm fine with that because once I leave the table, I'm going to go home. I'm going to open up my dungeon alchemy and I'm going to start working on my manor and I'm going to start building the temple. And I get all kinds of pleasure out of that. That's not what Joe wanted to do. Joe wanted to say, I have a house, I have a vineyard. Done. Yeah. And all it would have taken was a couple of thousand gold and Roger to say, okay, you've got your vineyard. And man, I had to scramble and I was so apologetic to Joe because I didn't want Joe to leave the table. I like playing with Joe.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm sorry, man. I wasn't trying to drive you away. I was in my head and we just need to get out of my head and onto the gaming table.
That's rough. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. But I'm like, I'm not gonna like whatever you want to like plant stuff and like we'll work out like a random roll. We'll work out a fixed cost a month. Okay, you got to pay, 10 people to work this thing, so it costs like 10 gold a month. And then as far as like how much money you're making, like roll like whatever 3d10 or whatever, you know what I mean, whatever it is, and that's how much gold you get per like acre or per whatever we're gonna we're gonna do there, and that's it. And I don't want to do anything more than kind of that thing, because like I mean Jason's right, like okay, you want to build a farm from scratch, like one guy, you know what I mean, you're gonna be here forever, but I'm not. This isn't medieval life simulator.
You guys were talking about Pendragon and one of the other Lord of the Rings that have the season of winter where nothing happens. I love that mechanic because again, my medieval life simulator, you did not fight in the spring because that's when the planting happened, and everybody in Europe, medieval Europe, ate grain. That was the primary food source, was grain. So everybody is in the field planting. Once summer comes, that's the season for fighting because you don't need to field's going to grow on its own. You don't have to do anything. You just watch it go. In the fall, everything disbands because now you have to harvest the grain and turn it into bread that's going to last for the rest of the year. In winter, it's too freaking cold to fight. So summer was the season of war, and everything else was, well, yeah, I hate my neighbors, but I can't go fight them yet because I need the food too. You know, even the kings needed to eat bread. So
Paul
I love that
mentioned
there
that's a one.
Yeah.
The One Ring had something similar, so I think
Right.
that's
And-
maybe
and-
what I was thinking of with the.
yes,
the
yeah,
Hobbit.
they do. And
But that's
I
the-
haven't.
That's
I
the
haven't
5e
played-
one,
Or
or is
yeah,
that
One
the,
Ring?
One Ring is 5e and Lord of the Rings, or do I have it backwards? One Ring is the free league, and Lord of the Rings is 5e. There you
Oh,
go.
okay.
Yeah, I had to
Okay.
look at my books.
So that is the thing. Okay. So
Yeah.
that is the free league one.
And I know that it exists in Pendragon, but I haven't played it enough to be like, yeah, this is what we did because I've never done a campaign. But that was real life. And again, that's my medieval simulator.
Sure.
And just because 1300s England didn't go into Scotland, during the winter, doesn't mean my character can't go fight the goblins in the winter.
Yeah.
This is what you get when you play with me.
Yeah. No, we're aware.
Yeah.
We're aware. Edgelord wants to come out and play with you, though. He wants to come out. He can't wait.
I look forward to it.
But
But Ducato said his team's got dibs on me, so I don't know. Whatever.
We called it early on.
oh my God.
Until the first game when I lose my shit and everybody goes, this guy's a nut. And then I had to find someone else to infect. Yeah.
Oh man. No, it's interesting, because like I don't want to make it I want to make it realistic, but also not, painfully brutal,
Right.
So you have to give up a bunch of realism to make it work in a game, I think.
Mhm.
And that's, I think that's like an important thing to do, and just kind of hand wave stuff and say, okay, this is, this doesn't take that long. This just, you can just do this, over the course of months or whatever, instead of saying, oh, this is going to take, years or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta walk that fine line, right? Like, I don't want to just like promote some things. You just don't want it to
Yeah.
be like a total gimme and hand wave it, but you don't also want to make it like a belabored pain in the ass either. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the key there is verisimilitude, where
Yeah.
it's not realism. It just needs to behave the same way for everyone each time it's invoked, right?
Mhm.
As long as
Yeah.
the NPCs are doing it this way and you're doing it this way and it's that way next time, the world behaves as if it's always been that way and you can rely on it later. It doesn't have to be like exactly how many bricks did you pick up? It's just,
Yeah,
yep, we're this
Sure.
far from a
10
quarry.
rocks.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
started telling Joe about sorting the rocks from large to small so you could figure out how to lay them in the foundation, the look on his face was like, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah, what the-
And I was so into it that I was like completely oblivious to it. I was, yeah, this is what you gotta do. Blah 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 blah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I don't even go like to the point, where I'm figuring that out. Like if you put 500 people on building a castle, right? Like, we'll figure out the math and say, okay, this is going to be the cost of it, and then if it's 100,000 gold, that means it's 100,000 man days, right?
Mhm.
So like we could say, okay, we put 1,000 people on this, and you build this thing in 100 days.
Mhm.
And obviously those 1,000 people aren't all like at the castle just putting, piling bricks up. That, they're, it doesn't matter. I don't have it, divvied up or, who's going where, but like some of those people are in the quarry, cutting stone, and some of those people are transporting it, and some of the people are, are building it, and people are carrying it up to the next floor. And I mean, there's a whole slew of things that like I don't want to get into, I don't want to run a job, like I don't want to do
Yeah.
that in the game,
I mean,
Like,
doing that
unless
is
that's the game
somebody's,
everybody
like-
wants to run.
That's somebody's full-time job in real life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's with a computer. Imagine doing that in medieval times. You're
Yeah.
not adventuring. You're just trying to build a castle, and it's going to take you the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like, that is not fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, guys. You know how I am.
Yeah.
The cathedral in Cologne. It's a very famous skyline. Everyone has seen the photos, so you've seen the cathedral whether you know it or not.
Mhm.
It took so long to build that cathedral that the architectural style changed 3
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
That is a dozen lifetimes it took for people to finally get this cathedral built. And that's just one cathedral in one city. So yeah, do you really want to make me? I'm going to build. Yohai's going to build a cathedral. Okay, Yohai's great grandson will be able to bless the cathedral the day
Yeah.
it's
Right.
built.
Right.
Who the hell wants to play
And that's
that? I don't
crazy,
even
really.
want to play that, and I love
Right.
this nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Doc Flamingo said, suspension of disbelief is 90% consistency. Paul Paul's on the idea of sorting rocks. How granular do you prefer inventory encumbrance?
It's a different
Opinions on
episode,
usage
Paul.
dice and
Nice
races.
try.
That's definitely another episode. Ken's drawn out a tangent now, so I got to make this quick.
Oh, no. I have a resource for everybody.
Oh,
But,
nice.
but go ahead.
I like the idea of a sort of abstract encumbrance. I don't like. I'm fine with doing it like pound for pound, and that's kind of the way we do it now in CNC. But I don't like a slot. Like you have 10 items and each one goes into a slot. Although I have used it and it does work. Obviously, the issue with that is you have something that weighs 20 pounds and something that weighs a pound, and it's just taking up a slot. So I kind of like some systems do like stone, like so something weighs 1 stone, 2 stone, 3 stone, and then you have like 3 times your strength in stone that you can carry or something like that. So that's not terrible. And I've done similar things in other games. But that's kind of what I generally like go towards. But in CNC we're using, pound for pound. I don't think it's that difficult, but I mean that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know what your guys' opinions on encumbrance and stuff.
I CNC, honestly, we don't really hard track it. Like it's like use common sense. Like you're not running around with 4 bastard swords strapped across your back because it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
So and now they have they're high enough level where they have a portable hole, so it's like they just chuck shit in there when they
right,
want to stow it.
right.
I do like the slot system, like Shadow Dark has and Dragonbane
Yeah.
has. I do. Free League uses it pretty much in most of their games. I do like that because it's simpler and makes them manage their equipment for sure. Like that's part of it. If you want a game
Right.
that entails like that sort of thing, I think that's a really good style to go with because it's very much more limiting,
Yeah.
like
And that's why I don't
8
like hand
slots
wave it.
or
Like, because
Mhm.
because I want to know, like, I want it to be sort of realistic. I like,
right.
because I've played in those games where it's like, yeah, encumbrance doesn't matter. Like, what do you got? Like, I've got
Yeah, no,
100,000 gold coins
in my
on my
pocket.
person. Like, it's in my pocket. Like, what? Like,
The money never bothered me. However you want to sort it. I just I don't know. I don't want to penalize the characters for their hard work and hey, here's 1,000,000 gold pieces. How are you going to get it back to town? Because town is 2 months away. So you can carry about 100 pounds out of here each. You'll be exhausted,
Yeah.
but that's fine. And then they're going to come back a month later. Someone else has taken the rest of the gold. So that's annoying.
Yeah.
But I do like encumbrance values for equipment. It always, if like you were saying, if there's no encumbrance, okay, yeah, I've got a pavilion. I sleep like a king every single night. And and it's like, okay, dude, a pavilion is a 50-pound tent. Well, there's no encumbrance. I don't really care. So
Yeah.
and that sort of thing bugs me. And also, the fighter that's a walking armory. That's just that's ridiculous, and I don't like it. I think CNC handles it very well. Armor and equipment all have an EV value and an encumbrance value that can be modified by your strength and constitution, whether they're prime or not. So I like the way CNC handles it. But as far as how much of the minutia do I get, it's me, man. Every single item has weight. If you look at my character sheet, every single item is accounted for. And if I can't carry it, I'll tell you I can't carry it. And early on, we helped circumvent the problem. We bought a mule. So we've got a pack donkey that follows us everywhere we go. And early on, Yohai's primary responsibility, other than keeping the party alive, make sure the donkey doesn't die.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to leave all that stuff behind, and we didn't want to have to do that. Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, my group,
Joe
before they
said
got
hi.
the portable hole, they have like a wagon, and I mean, there's some places they can't take it. That runs into, because I didn't want them to be like, dragging this thing into, you're not dragging that thing through a swamp or whatever. It's just not going to fly. So, or in the mountains, like, the road is gone. You're not going to be able to use it. But a lot of times they can when they travel. They're all mounted. They're either mounted or they're riding in the wagon, one or the other. That was an earlier comment. The Fireball Freight, that's the wagon, because it's the wizard in the party has a side business where he does like shipping and stuff, where
excellent
keeps setting up, so he calls it Fireball Freight.
Yeah, we specifically bought a mountain pony to carry our stuff, because the area that we live in, there's a lot of mountains. We live in like a wooded plain area, but just northwest of us, to get the rest of the continent, is all mountains, like miles and miles of mountains. So we were like, well, it's got to be a mountain pony. It just, Joe the donkey is not going to work. So we put some thought in, and it worked great. The pony and the donkey have a great encumbrance value. They can carry lots of stuff. Later on, Yohai bought a longship. So that was like our mobile base, because the longship has a wonderful encumbrance value, carrying capacity. So like, we put all of our stores on the ship, and we'll travel around to the coastline, go in, land for a few days, come back to the boat, restock, and go back out. It works really well.
Yeah. What, Ken, you got thoughts on that, or
I've got encumbrance thoughts. I am on the opposite side. If it's within reason, I don't look at encumbrance. Like I mean, besides, like,
pretty much,
how are you carrying 5 great swords? Like, now you need to
that's how I
explain
do
it.
Yep.
And you probably can't, so let's put 2 of them down.
That's me.
Down,
yep,
or whatever.
totally.
Yeah, Chthonic Musing says that about Hyperborea. It has all the weights on the table, and then the encumbrance rule is just be reasonable. And it's interesting that Talanian does that, because he's got like a lot of more complicated stuff going on with combat and things like that. And like the encumbrance rules, he was just like, "Yep, nope."
Done.
We'll put the complication into stuff, but
there are like there are games where that's like a very important focus, and it's very interesting in the game.
Forbidden Lands is like that.
Forbidden Lands, okay. Which is one
but
we
that's
got
a
to
game
check
that's
out.
that's definitely geared towards exploring and hex crawling.
Oh yeah,
that's
much more of a
that. So
resource
management. Yeah.
Resource management.
I like Doc Flamingo's idea there is parties have entire baggage trains, teamsters, cooks, guards, etc. That's good. I was trying to interrupt. Yeah. Ken, I know you're in the middle of a thought here.
Oh, the other one I was going to say, Mouse Ritter has one of my favorite encumbrance, and it's not one that would work with any other game.
I think it would. That's the different size cutouts, right?
It's the different size cutouts,
and
which sort of theoretically could work, but in Mouse Ritter, it really emphasizes how small you are.
Mm-hmm. You are a mouse.
You have to figure out these 6 slots and what you do.
And every time you lose a hit point or whatever, you lose a slot.
If
right?
you get exhausted, it's not like exactly hit points, but injuries, exhaustion, they make you drop things, and so it's like very cleverly done and immersive, right? The encumbrance is part of playing the game. You have to think about your character while you're thinking about the encumbrance. So
and that's basically slot based encumbrance.
Yeah,
and some things take up 2 slots or whatever, but I mean, so I don't think it would be that difficult to use it in other systems.
I agree with that. I just don't know if you would need it. But I mean, I totally agree.
I like the
double inventory, but for a little money.
in Scum and Villainy, I like the inventory system, You know, you can be lightly encumbered, normally encumbered, and
Yeah.
and heavy. And it's really just, how much do you want to carry? And the example you used, if you're packing heavy, it doesn't mean that you're slowed down, but you've got a big blaster rifle and body armor
Yeah.
on. And when people
Yeah.
see you, they're like, "Oh, this guy is
Yeah.
coming." Whereas a normal guy, I've got a blaster pistol tucked into a cloak and I've got a saber on my side, but people see me like it's just a guy walking down the street.
Mhm.
And the only thing I didn't like about Scum and Villainies inventory is that you picked as you needed. I just think that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. But I like the way their slot system worked. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I would have liked a hybrid, I think, better of like the big items, the important stuff that will save your life, maybe pick in advance.
Yes.
And littler stuff that you pick later, maybe you pay a stress for or do a roll for or something to see if you get it.
Yeah. To do a
that could just be
flashback or
depends
something
on
with
the
it. So
system
you
or
have to
whatever.
spend the
Mhm.
you have to spend the flash or something. Joe, for mouse reader, you have the option of writing down number of slots. No, don't do it. That sucks. That's
Per the core rules.
cut
It's
cut
in
the
the
thing out,
rules. It's allowed.
play with the thing. No, it's definitely
I
cool.
love the
It's definitely
cutouts.
cool to play with the cutouts and put it on your thing. Like, I think it's an added, it's just a little like dumb thing, right? Like to have like the cutouts as opposed to like a list. Because Joe's like, it's the same, right? It's the same thing, but it feels so much like you're trying to stuff your backpack or whatever, or like you gotta like, oh, if I turn this sideways, I can put this over here now, and or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a cool kind of feeling. So I would definitely do that.
No, don't answer that.
I make my
We're
players
already in a
scared going,
tangent.
okay.
We're already
We
in
can't
a
have
tangent.
subtangents.
Nice try, Edgelord.
Sorry, Edgelord.
You're not getting ahead that easy.
The cleric casts continual flame on everything.
On downtime. On downtime activities. I'm pitching another Crawford. This is light everywhere. Worlds without number.
Yeah. Worlds without
actions.
number.
Faction turns.
There you go.
Those are if you don't know what to do with your enemies and your big good guy teams while the players are sleeping, I'm in front of that goal. Not this time. This is a great resource, and it gives you the training wheels for like, okay, so how big is this faction? What do they want? What are they actually doing with this stuff they have? It gives you a game just for the GM to play to help inspire what's happening during downtime. And that downtime action will help inspire like side quests and stuff for your characters.
Yeah.
So when they hear about news in the world, it maps to what you've actually got going on in the world. So,
and that's an interesting point too, I think, to add into like the downtime thing, and it's sort of adjacent, right? Downtime adjacent. But when you have your bad guys, like they should be a part of like a faction. And I'm not saying it needs to be some big in-depth thing where they're actually like part of a group or whatever. But if you've got like a guy that like a cult that's summoning demons, right? You should jot that down and say, okay, it's this demon cult, whatever they are, and they should have goals. Like their goal shouldn't be summon demons, cause havoc or whatever. Or maybe that's it, but they should have goals of like, hey, they want to summon this demon and they want to send them out to, retrieve something or to get something or to do something. And you should have that kind of like written down or written out so that like what to do when the players, especially if you're not running like a one-to-one time game, when the players are like, oh yeah, we want to hang around for a month and do this other thing or 6 months or whatever, this season or whatever it is. And then like, okay, well, how many demons did these guys summon in the 6 months? And then like, what do they do? Are they just sitting here waiting, for the players to come back? You can look at your list and say, oh, they want to cause destruction. Well, okay, there's a town that's 2 days away. So like, that's where these things should start heading. And then you could tell the players, a few weeks into their, or however long it takes the information to get to them, hey, demons are attacking this town, or you know what I mean? So that there's actually like stuff happening and going on, in the background instead of.
But if you're going to do that, the demon specifically is what I'm thinking, or some kind of enslaved monster. Demons don't want to be summoned. They're not happy to be here.
Sure.
And and like most of the source books say, the demon is looking to escape, to kill its summoner. So if you've got the evil wizard is casting, oh, I've got 6 months until the good guys get here, so I'm just going to cast summon demon every day. Every single day you are multiplying your chances of being slaughtered, because you can't possibly control this many demons. I'm going to give Edgelord an assist and allow him to score by tying it back into the down.
No.
But I'm tying it back into the downtime. His question was, how do you deal with light sources? In our party, when my cleric hit 5th level, continual flame, continual light is a 3rd level spell, and in C&C the duration is 1 year. So I told Roger, every time we do downtime, Yohai is walking around town casting continual flame on sconces that are scattered around town. So we have light, anybody that wants it. I cast continual light on the fighter's shield, and our mage had a continual a bag, just a regular cloth bag, and I had cast continual flame on it, and he just turned it inside out when we didn't want the light, and we did want the light, he flew it back out, and now it's shining.
Yeah.
That is how we handle light sources. And I did all of that on downtime because it has a 1 year lifespan on the spell. So I didn't have to, we're traipsing through a dungeon and I have to memorize continual light every day. That's how we handled that. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Sorry, I tried, Paul. I think he's got the edge here.
Have you guys covered the downtime between games IRL yet? Are you talking about like what the players do between games? Is that what you're talking about, Joe? Because if that's what you're talking about, I've got some things to say there. And
think about the next game.
Yes. Oh my God, Ken, that's perfect. Because now we have players. We've had players that were not, that were worse at this, but then they actively admitted, like, hey, they come show up for the game, play the game, have fun, they love it, and then as soon as 8:00 hits, beep 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 beep, time to go, pack up the stuff, and they're gone, and until 4:00 next Sunday.
Have you seen Severance? Have you seen
no
the
idea.
show Severance?
No, I haven't. It's on my list though.
But
I've heard it's similar.
It's like they're severed.
Yeah.
They walk into the room and they're like, oh yeah,
yes,
I was a dwarf or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when they leave,
exactly.
what was I
Tyler
doing?
and I were walking around PAX Unplugged last year, and Roger can tell you that if you allow me to, I will tell you my character's life story minute by minute as soon as I leave the table. I know what they're doing. Tyler and I are walking around PAX, and I don't remember what brought it up, because he wasn't telling me to shut up. That's not what he was doing. But he looked at me and said, as soon as I leave the table, I don't even think about my character for the rest of the week. He said that, and it was like, whoosh. Yeah, I just I can't imagine having this simulacrum in my head that I ignore for a week. I'm constantly thinking about the character that I'm playing and what I want to do with him next. And, and again, I derive so much pleasure from living my character's life, and building the stuff and all that. I just can't imagine closing the book and walking away, man. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
So
if I get to that point, I don't think I would want to play that much anymore.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I look forward to playing so that my character's life, who has been put on pause, can now go back into action. I can roll tape and just let him go.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, that's on my list. Shopping, and I've said that before in some other talks. I don't remember what episodes, but shopping should be done right, like after the session, like. And at the end of the session, everybody's wrapping up, everybody packs up, and they skedaddle out of here. Not everybody. There's people, we hang out, talk. I like to talk. I will hold you by the arm and not let you leave and talk. Jason knows that, so he fucking scoots before I can even have a chance to get up. But no, and I mean, I like to talk and stuff, but that's the time where people should say, hey, I'm doing this, or in the week between, put a message in Discord, post the thing, say, hey,
Yeah.
I got
You have a week to do
buy this
this.
stuff. I'm gonna buy these things, or hey, I want to do this stuff. Definitely all of that stuff should do it. Paul, never, like, I've always hated people like shopping like in game. Like, I get it. Sometimes, we can't talk about where we're going to go or what we're going to do, and it's like, okay, hey, we're going to go down in this mine. Okay, we need 500 feet of rope. Okay, we got to buy 500 feet of rope and some grappling hooks and things. Like, okay, I get it, but my God, like, you start. I've been in games where they're going around, you're talking to people, they're trying to haggle, or they're trying to steal stuff, and it's like, you got one guy doing that, and you got 6 people sitting at the table, and they're all like, what are we doing? Like, they're sitting here for an hour while somebody's shopping in game, and it's just crazy.
You can see me clenching my teeth bringing this subject up.
Yeah.
When I was stationed in New Jersey, a good friend of mine lived in Baltimore, and he was like, hey man, I've got a 3.5 group, and this was many years ago. You should come play. And I was like, hell yeah, I'll come play. And it was like a 2.5, 3-hour drive down the highway in my Jeep. And I went every Sunday. And I showed up one Sunday, and one of the players spent 3 hours bickering over the price of potions. I wanted to kill him. And one, I couldn't believe that the player was so selfish that he would do this. And I couldn't believe that the DM would let it happen.
Right.
Dude, it's a 5-hour round trip for me to come and play your game. Can you please not allow this jack off to spend 3 hours bartering for potions? I could not believe that. Before that happened, I never really minded players shopping in games. Just don't take too long. Do what you got to do and let's move on. When that happened, I was like, I'm done with this shit. That will never, ever happen again while I'm at the table. I don't care if I'm player or DM. Not going to happen. Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah. And that's like rough. And I don't want to have that happen, and part of, like I mentioned this before, right? Like, about my cities and stuff aren't, fleshed out and all that, especially, in the time that we're, in the way that we're playing and whatnot. But, like, I would hate that. So that's part of the reason, right? Like, I don't want to have people that have to go and like talk to like this guy and try and haggle about this or whatever. Like, I don't want to do it. Here's prices. You pay you just mark the gold off and you get the thing. Like, that's it, and that's like much easier than trying to deal with, everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy. Yeah, Joe's gonna run a 3.5 game on online, so that'll be that'll be interesting. Josie, you won't let people barter. My merchants are all used car salesmen. Does that mean when you drink the potion, you got to roll to see if if it's a lemon or not?
You're trying to get a 25% discount. You end up paying 50% markup, and you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
Just buy your sword and get the hell out.
If you get the loan with us, then yeah, we can.
Oh my God!
Maybe knock a few points off.
Yeah.
God. Dude.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Yep. Been there. Yep. So yeah, crazy. Yeah, that's what it. The shopping thing. No, that's like something that anything that you're gonna do in game that is going to put the spotlight solely on you for more than 10 minutes should be done, in down as a downtime activity.
Yeah. Agreed.
If the thief is gonna wants to sneak into somewhere and rob something or whatever, that should all happen in downtime, in between sessions. That's it's definitely.
I have to kind of counter that a little bit.
Sure.
If it's like, if the thief is going on a brief solo mission, if I can sit there and watch it, that can still be very entertaining for me. Because I get to live vicariously through the thief. He's going across the rooftops, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. But it needs to be, I don't know, kind of cleared through the rest of the party. Like before the game starts, hey, Jason's rogue wants to do this. Do you guys want me to have Jason come in an hour early and I'll run him through this little solo mission?
Yeah.
Or do you
Okay.
want to come and observe?
Sure.
And because me, a few weeks ago, I talked about turning my back to the table when someone's interacting with an NPC. I don't do that all the time. And so, like, if Joe's rogue is going to go on a solo mission, I'm like, cool, this could be really entertaining. Let's see what happens here. Or if, Nabil's fighter's going to go off and do something. But if it's going to be like an extended mission that's going to take hours, that needs to be handled between the player and DM. Don't waste the party's time with that.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, and I mean that's why I said 10 minutes, but that's not a bad idea to like for like us to like put it in the Discord or in in like a group chat or something, right? For anybody, and just say, hey, do you guys want to see, Jason's rogue do this, do this stuff or do it ahead of time? And you might have people, that want to see that.
Yeah. But there were times like when Nabil and I would go talk to the Count at his camp, and nobody needed to partake in it. Like even we didn't. All we needed to have was an answer. How do we present to this Count? Does he say yes or no? End of it. I don't need to take up a day's play riding out to the Count, dealing with random encounters and all that. Just say yes or no and let's move on.
Yeah. No, I get that, and that's generally I tell people to do that stuff in during downtime or in between. But yeah, it could be cool to watch that show and see what happens.
Paul, that's a great way to handle it, especially with Shadowrun. The Decker's got to go do his thing in the Matrix. Nobody wants to watch that because it's really not very exciting.
Yeah,
fire up the grill, man. Let's get those burgers rolling.
Some burgers cooking. Boy,
yeah, those are good days.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Edgelord solo missions are during the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a good point.
The other thing you can do too with like those solo missions, because that doesn't come up a lot in my games, but like you could also, if you did have players that wanted to just observe, like say, depending on the system, maybe they start becoming active participants because you have like a guard or something like that he has to get by, or maybe he gets caught and you're like, okay, here, roll these dice mix. Take the. I got other stuff to do. As a game master.
I wouldn't mind doing that. I think there's some of my players that wouldn't want to do that.
Well, that's fine if they don't want to.
Because then it's like a feel bad moment where if Jason's thief, right, is like sneaking into a castle or something, and then there's two guards, and now I got to roll spot rolls for those, and then I hand that off to Ken, and Ken rolls like a natural 20. I mean, there could be like a feel bad moment there or something, where Ken,
yeah, no, I agree with Ken, because I know, it was, Ken's not trying to screw up my character. He just rolled well, and I have bad luck sometimes. That's just the way.
Plus, I would love if Jason rolled for spot against my thief.
Yeah, well,
because I know how Jason.
Yeah, because you'd through.
Yes.
We had a long time ago.
I'm your ringer.
We were playing 3.5. I had a buddy of mine that played a barbarian, and that's all he wanted. He had a huge axe named Muffin, and that's all he wanted to do was just hit things with it. Like that was his whole thing. And he hated whenever the group would like want to talk to somebody, or like if the thief was trying to like, oh, I'm going to listen to the door, I'm going to pick the lock, and he's like, no, just get out of the way, I'll take care of it, but he would stand up, or like half stand up, leaning over the table, like shaking his D20 in his hand, like, can I hit the guy yet? And it's like they're not done talking to the bad guy, trying to get all the information out of him. And he's like, I'm gonna hit him. Screw you guys, I'm hitting him. And there was one time that he got like mind controlled or whatever, and told to attack the group. And he came around the corner and he had this big, stupid smile on his face. And he was like, finally,
vengeance is mine.
It's my turn. And he's like, he's like pointing to the wizard. And he's like, you're getting it. Watch this. All those times you made me stand back. And he's like, it's like, cathartic for him. It's therapeutic, and then they end up casting, dispel magic or something on him, and he was like upset. He's like, "Damn it, I almost got you." He's like trying. It's like I was like, all those times you made me wait while you talked to those people. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to really balance that stuff out. Like someone made a comment earlier about watching Critical Role, and I remember this episode that they spent a whole episode buying material for their costumes to go to a costume party, and I'm like,
It's
I
crazy.
we run a balance, right? Like if there's an NPC, because I do stuff in town, but like if I've made so I have my town, it's a work in progress of being fleshed out, but they might meet somebody that in the shop, or the shopkeeper, he might have some stuff to tell them or can impart to them somehow. I'll do that. But then on the flip side, that can be going on. And then like one of my players, Steve, was in there. And this happened the other night. He's like, well, I want to go get, I think it was like, cause he does like the cooking for the party, which they don't always appreciate, but he does. And, he wanted to go restock, and I'm like, yep, that's no problem. And he's like, yeah, okay. And done,
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I put a link to Joe's Discord in the chat. He's gonna run a 3.5 game online at some point, day dependent. I think he's just gonna run it whenever people are available, things like that.
Yeah, I
So,
think he was saying he wanted to drop in, drop out. Not exactly
yeah,
list marches, but like if you could play, come on in,
yeah, and just do some adventures and stuff. So
have
so
fun,
it sounds
custom
like fun.
classes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cool stuff. So that's a link to his Discord if you guys are interested in that. Jump on there. Um, you know, but yeah, fun times. So, terrible posh English accents will do so. Yeah, they probably were. It's it's crazy to me that people will watch like some of that stuff. I mean, I get like the high production value stuff, and they've got all the high end miniatures and terrain and lighting, and yeah, I get that. I get like some of that draw, but like to watch them go through like just shopping and figuring that out, like, oh man, just crazy.
Yeah. It'd be an
Like,
interesting challenge to make the shopping episode the interesting episode. Like,
yeah,
are you
yeah.
haggling away, I don't know, alliances with certain factions in order to get the rare material? And do you have to like chase down a guy for one of the things? Or, I,
Yeah,
I,
right.
I could see ways to make it interesting, but
Yeah.
just being in costume, talking about being in costume for 4 hours, I can't do it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a show on character costumes. We'll see if we can go.
I'm gonna come in costume.
Edgelord, geez, what I
I'm a high value commodity.
you guys are gonna need some alone time, I think, at CNY. So how do you guys feel about this? Is something that I kind of toyed with doing in downtime, and I'm not sure how it would work, but like to do like a planning like stage where like maybe you guys are, or maybe the group is trying to like get somewhere and do something, right? Like the end goal is to get to the evil overlord's castle, right, and take it over. Maybe that's going to happen in 6 months, right? But you got to like work your way there, find like a route and all of this stuff. So maybe like as a downtime action, you're maybe trying to like get a layout, of the castle or whatever, so you can, find a better way in or something. And then as like a downtime action, make like an investigation roll or whatever, right? And then depending on how good you do on that roll, maybe you get like a +1 or +2 bonus to like when the time comes. You know what I mean? So you're spending like that week of time, right? That we said, like that block of time. And instead of, progressing forward, you're building or whatever you're working on, learning spells, you're like advancing like your goals like towards the next level. So, or towards the, towards that castle. So you're like, oh, okay, now when we storm it, like we've got like info. So now we're gonna get a +2 to whatever we're going to do, right? Like, so if we're doing an infiltration thing, like, the thief or the party will get like a +2
Sure,
on
yeah.
their hide rolls or
Sort
or
of
sneaking checks or something.
sort of like a blend in from the Forge in the Dark kind of
Yeah,
system,
yeah,
but
something like
not
that.
as far as like doing literal flashbacks. Just like
Right,
in
right.
advance, hey, I'm studying where to infiltrate. I'm studying what kind of locking mechanisms they have,
Yeah,
guard
right.
rotations or whatever. So if you know their
Yeah,
rotations, sneaking would be easier, right? Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's an interesting approach. I'm trying to think of like how would you abuse that,
You know,
and
well,
where does that not apply?
if you do it as like a downtime action, right, and you figure
Mhm.
that action takes like a week, right, which could be used, learning a spell or doing whatever. Like, it's enough time where like somebody can't say like, okay, I'm gonna sit here for 6 weeks and do it. But even if
Yeah,
they do that, like they sit there for 6 weeks and they get a +14 on this infiltration roll, like who cares? Like if they put in that many weeks to do it, like yeah, they'll have like a huge sneak roll to like get into the place, but that's only like phase 1 of 6 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you've successfully snuck in, like, but now you have to still navigate the place and try and figure out where
yeah,
you're going and like do you know what I mean? So maybe you do that like every, you try and get like a layout or something, or somebody that worked, somebody's brother that worked, that laid stones by hand in the place and maybe knows, oh, this is kind of like the general layout, and maybe that gives you a bonus to kind of know where to go, you know.
I think
Uh,
there's definitely a version of that
you know,
that works really
yeah,
well.
yeah,
And I think when you say stuff like this is only phase 1 of 6, that kind of like takes you out of that OSR or CNC mode of thinking where it's just supposed to be, you know, a realistically behaving place. It's not a multi-step heist, right? You're just going into a castle.
sure,
Mhm.
But
sure,
um, I, there is a version where you're like, I studied the layout. So now that you're telling me I'm lost, I want to use this thing I studied and I'll cash that in
yeah,
for
yeah.
being able to find my way to the next room that I got to find or whatever.
Or to not get
Yeah.
lost, right? Like you go down a
Mhm.
hallway and you get to a T and it's 3 ways to go.
Mhm.
And it's like that's when you say, "Oh, hey, remember when I spent the week researching the thing? Like this is where I want to turn that in." And like it was this intersection or whatever, and then, and then the GM will say, "Okay, it's not door number 1." Or
Yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
Or maybe if you made a really good roll, he says, okay, it's door number 2 is, or, choice number 2 is what you want or whatever. But if you just did like a normal roll or what, you know what I mean? You can, it's okay, it's not this, but if you crit, then you can
I
say, okay,
think
it's
it's
definitely this way.
if you're playing a
Yeah.
system or if you're playing in a game where you are frequently, you know exactly what you're going to do the next time your group leaves town, right?
Yeah.
And it's a very focused thing. Like I'm going to go to that castle and get that thing. Yeah, there's definitely benefit to having that kind of a downtime move,
Yeah.
and probably
Yeah.
less so if you're saying we're just going to go clear a hex we haven't been in before
Yep.
because you haven't been there,
Right.
which you have the
Right.
bonus in. So
And
uh,
how long until the intel that you've gathered corrodes and it is no longer of any use to you?
it's got to be
Well,
like a
right.
week or two. I feel like,
Yeah. So,
yeah,
so that's why it would have to be like, you know, during the downtime, during like, say, that month downtime between sessions. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like before you go and do the thing. So like it wouldn't be, oh yeah, I want to get the thing on this castle. And oh, then the next week we meet up. It's like, oh, we're not going there now. We're doing something else. Like then that bonus goes away or whatever. Or erodes. Maybe if you do a good roll and you say, okay, it's a +3 bonus. Now every game session, right? So if you get a +3 bonus, if it's the next game session that you enact that plan, you get the +3 bonus. If it's the following session, it's +2, and the one after that, it's only a +1, and then it's gone. Right. So it's only
Mhm.
good for quote unquote 3 months or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it could be totally viable. The thing that was going through my head when you and Ken were talking there is like I could see like my ranger and Joe's thief go out to the castle to do a recon, and between base and the castle, my ranger's doing a recon. He's spotting, this is where the orcs are, so we're going to avoid that. Once we get to the castle, Joe does a small infiltration or just does a recon of the castle itself. You don't have to enter to do a recon. We're up on the hill looking down,
Mhm.
watching the guards and what they're doing. So we get back to town. Okay, next week we're going to roll out. My ranger, having done all that recon, means that we can get there without any or with far fewer chances of random encounters. And then once we get to the castle, Joe's rogue is like, okay, this is what I was pointing at the map. So now we can
Yeah.
go here and get in here. So I think it could definitely be useful. But it would have to be. I think it would have to be run correctly, because
Sure.
me playing the ranger, I want to go out and do that recon, and again, that's me getting into my simulator head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it doesn't need to be a week-long session. It's a 5-minute thing of saying Jason's ranger goes out and does a recon and comes back.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like in between sessions or whatever. You say, okay, I'm going to do this recon, and then all you do is you're making a check, you're making a roll, right, to see how good your recon was. Like
Yeah.
instead of like what you said earlier, maybe doing that whole thing where we're rolling for random encounters and you're rolling all these things, and to do like a full solo mini session. Instead we're just saying, okay, here's this thing, you did this thing, roll the die, we'll see where we're
Mhm.
at. And it's like, oh, you rolled a 5, okay, we only get a +1 bonus now to like
Sure.
use. So now, like, okay, when you guys are approaching, it's like, oh, there's guards, you can say, okay, well, we can get a +1 to ambush them because I knew a good spot to
Mhm.
to leap down from, or whatever it is, like that. And I know
Sure.
that kind of like abstracts the game a little bit. I know you're not totally into that, but I mean that was my thought, to do something like that. But
Yeah. Even when I'm not totally into something like that, I can still participate in it.
sure, sure,
Okay, I just got to tune my head a little bit differently today, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And
yeah,
like, talking about, we can take out that guard. I know how, or we know that we have 3 minutes between guard going there and coming back.
mhm,
So as soon as he turns around, we throw the grapple hook up. One guy climbs up, pulls the grapple up, wait for the guard to come back and go away, drops the
yeah,
hook back down. So, I mean, it can lead to a really cool heist type adventure that I think could be really interesting to play.
mhm,
Yeah, I don't really
Yeah.
have a problem with it.
yeah, yeah. But it's a cool downtime thing to do, and then like I said, we're not doing a whole, but yeah, whatever. I mean, it can go either way, I guess. But that's a lot easier to say, hey, this is a thing, instead of play it out or whatever. Or if nobody wants to watch you play it out, in
Yeah.
the session, then we just roll it and say, okay, here's what it is.
That's a great tool too for if you're, I guess from group to group. Some groups love playing that out, and some think it's a shopping episode. With
Yeah.
more steps, right?
Yeah, right,
So,
right.
yeah, that's a great.
Well, that's what we mentioned. I don't know if it
"Oh,
was
this is
before
kinda
you
boring,
showed
but
up. I don't know if it was before you showed up, Ken, but Jason had mentioned like sometimes it's cool to watch like that play out.
Mhm.
Like everybody at the table might want to watch the show of Joe sneaking into a place, even though they're not really participating. It might be cool to
Yeah,
watch
Yeah.
watch it real time on the video feed.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
but if not, then you just say, okay, we'll just make a roll and see how it did, or whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
You rolled a 1, you died. Sorry.
My downtime activity is going to be looting that source book with the crazy dead dwarves in it. So I'll roll a d6 and you tell me how much treasure I bring back. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. Right. Yeah, cool stuff. Yeah, I would die before I get another rolls. Boring show. Boring show. Yeah, hilarious show. There you go, Ken. Yeah.
Yeah.
People might love that, Ken wasn't here until Cassidy Focamono 64. It's true.
Yeah, that's
It's
fair.
true. It's definitely true.
I think we're almost the same age. Me and the Commodore.
But yeah, good stuff. So
I can tell you a thing I'm doing with downtime activities. If you're
yeah,
open to hearing it.
I'm open to hearing anything that's downtime related.
So we've
Even
got
downtime adjacent.
It's downtime adjacent. Right now, in the home game, we have a number of survivors that are on the fringe. Oh, Jason just takes up. Okay.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
He's like, I'm out.
I had to blow my nose, and I didn't think anyone wanted to see or
I
hear
appreciate it. I
that.
appreciate
You are
it.
welcome.
Edgelord wanted to see it.
Look
right
at this
now,
snaz. There's a lot holds a lot.
Fully loaded.
That's right, baby.
So yeah, we've got one primary player base where they have investigated. They've done a couple mini adventures to like clear it out. It's theirs, and we have an abstracted thing called supply, and it includes like fabrics for bandages, foods, spices, stuff like that. And so for every 10 people in that base, they're going to lose one supply per in-game month, something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And so part of their downtime is, would you like to invest some of the people who live here to go hunting for more supplies? And if you do, they might be put in danger, but you might also come back with a supply. And the more you invest, the higher your odds are they come back okay. Or would you like to invest them over here to harvest this metal that you can trade with this guy for supply? So they've met like 3 other factions that are in this place, and one of them wants metal for supply, and one of them wants metal for something else. So they got to decide which thing they want to do. So my goal here is to create this kind of drive of, hey, you might starve to death if you're not careful. And also, they keep wanting to rescue everybody, and it's bringing their population up and up, which is going to mean more and more supply being used, which is a kind of an interesting predicament to be in. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see where it ends up. But
that's interesting.
That's my take. Any thoughts, suggestions?
Have you guys played this War of Mine?
Yeah.
So it's a video game. I believe it was a video game first.
Yeah.
I've never played the video game. I have the board game version of it, but it's basically like war-torn Europe. I don't know if it's actually like war-torn Bosnia, or if they call out what it is. But I that's the feeling that I get from it. And you have a group of like 3 people, 4 people, and you start in this like house, and it's winter and it's cold, and the furnace doesn't work, and like all this stuff, and you have to like go out at night, and you like scavenge, and you make rolls, and it like could be bad, but then they sort of like abstract there's food and there's gear, I think, and then there's like parts or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then you need like in order to like fix the stove, you need like 3 parts or whatever, and then you can like work on that. And that's like kind of like it's like a downtime activity or something where you say, okay, I'm going to work on this. And it's similar to that where like people show up like every, I don't know if it's every night or whatever, you roll like a night event, and somebody could show up at your door. And there's a whole process where like, it'll be like some old lady, and you like read the card, and it says, oh, she's hungry or whatever. And then you could like let her in, but she might like pull a gun on you, and like somebody gets injured or whatever. Or you turn her away and she freezes to death, and she was a good person, and like, you don't know. But the way you were talking about that, Ken, kind of reminded me about that game with the, with like the resource management, and then like the more people that you try and like rescue or save or whatever, like you could do more stuff, because now you got 5 people,
But it
You
takes
could
more
do
resources.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's like, yeah, now you need more food and you need more stuff and like all of that, and it's sort of like, gets out of control in a hurry and but
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's interesting. So
Yeah, I need a
yeah, I
couple
have
more
the
like not meta currencies. I need a couple more abstracted community um, currencies
yeah.
like supply
I'm
and pallets
I'm
of
not
metal,
sold
scrap
on
metal.
like quote unquote supply. Like I think this personally, right? Like
Sure.
I think that's too abstract. I think you should have um like food, or rations or whatever is like one,
Hmm.
and then maybe the other one is I don't know, bandages. I mean, I don't want to like you don't want to have 10 different things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to make sure that the mini game doesn't become the game.
Yeah.
and
I've
and
had that
that
problem
because
before.
it can quickly spiral out of control. I think it's a cool idea of bringing new people in. Yeah, and by the way, thanks for joining us, Doc.
Thanks, Doc.
Super
Yeah,
excited to see a
Yeah.
new subscriber. That's cool.
absolutely.
But I like the idea of more people coming in. That requires more resources, and I would, as a player, I would have no problem being like, okay, we need to assign these guys to do this and that. But I would want to make sure that the main focus is still the game and not the mini
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. When I ran my post-apocalyptic game, I had a character that was playing a scavenger, and he had like the one of the abilities was to like scavenge parts and things like that, and it was
Hmm.
like sort of abstract, where it was just like, okay, they can gather like spare parts for things and all of that. And then so instead of like whenever he found stuff, I would make like a roll and say, okay, you found like this value of spare parts, right? So it's like 1,000 credit or whatever worth of spare parts. So then what would happen is he would go and try and like repair something, and like the repair cost would be, you know, um, 2,000 GP, right? Or whatever of like parts that he needed. So then I would like make a roll that would determine like what percentage of those parts that he had.
Hmm.
So like 2,000 parts. So I'd roll like a D10 or something and say, that was like 0 to 50%. Say, oh, okay, you 20%, like 20% of the cost is negated, by your parts. And then basically his parts would go down like 200 gold in value. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Like that. And then they'd only have to pay like the difference or whatever. Um, so that was kind of neat, the
Kind of a
like a
similar
neat way of
thing.
doing it. Yeah. Um, but I think I would put food separate, like food or rations or whatever separate. Then I forget Decado, how does Dolmenwood do it? Um, do they abstract it, or didn't they have a thing where it's like
Um,
every night, like it's like you have to do a ration, and you have to have like a fire. Somebody's gonna like make a fire, so you have to have like warmth or something. You have to
I'm not
have these
sure.
things in order to get
There is,
the full
I
hit
think
points
so.
back
Like,
for
I think
so
they
many.
have rules for that in there.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I like, I can go both ways because I was reading a lot of the Forbidden Land stuff after Jason posted that he was getting it, and I kind of like how they do. I mean, it is a little abstract. Like you'll have
Yeah.
there's three different things. There's food, water, and like ammunition. So it does, but
Right.
they're all given a die, right? So say
Yeah.
you have a D12 in food, like that's really good. So like every
Yeah, if
night
you
you
roll a
you have to
one,
eat.
right?
No.
And it reduces.
Well, if you roll, so every day you have to roll food and water because you have to have it every day. Um, but if you roll a 1 or a 2, you go down a die.
Okay, it's
So,
one or
like,
two.
it would
Okay.
go from a D12 to a D10,
Yep.
and you use
Yeah.
your rations or however you wanna narrate it, it's open to interpretation. Same with arrows, like, you had, like, "Oh, I have a D6 worth of arrows." Well, you
Yeah.
start firing off arrows in combat, you roll that D6, you roll a 1 or a 2, you're out of arrows. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
better have a sword or something.
I'm doing
I
a similar
kind of
thing
like
actually.
that system.
So go ahead.
No,
That system
please.
of the
I just kind of liked it.
decreasing.
Yeah. I think that's kind of neat in some ways. Like the arrow thing kind of bugs me a little bit because I think like an archer, like he's reaching back and he's like pulling arrows out. Like he knows. Like that guy's tracking. Like he knows he's got 10 arrows in there and he's counting them as he's shooting them because he knows
He
he
Yeah.
may
only has
not,
so
though.
much ammo left. You know,
He may
but
I
not,
think
though.
what the die is trying
but
to
like for
abstract is like how many did you recover? How many were
right,
made
right,
well in the
right. It's
first
all
place?
of that. No, I get
Did
it.
you
I
take
think it
2
works.
shots this turn? Yeah.
I
It's
think
like
it works fine
the
for
reason
bullets, or
like the reason
whatever.
I say that is early in my career, the teaching was they would like teaching guys to like count their rounds, right? And over time they realized nobody's freaking doing that because it's the
Yeah.
heat of the moment. I've talked to guys like soldiers that were like, yeah, I was in this gunfight and I didn't really think it was that big of a deal, and I shot my gun that much, and then when we got done, I had 3 empty magazines at my feet that I didn't even
Mhm.
realize that I'd
Yeah,
shot.
True
yeah, yeah.
story, man. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's
Where the
like
hell did all my
you
ammo go?
I mean, look at, if you want a more fantastical version, look at I don't remember which movie it was, but it was the one of the Avenger movies, and Hawkeye reaches back
You
to
reach back and
grab
there's
one
nothing there.
and he's out. He's like,
Yeah,
ah crap, so
yeah,
I I think like in Dragonbane, the way it works is if you have a quiver, you always have arrows, and that's a little too generous maybe, but I kind of like the here's your it keeps you from
yeah,
having to be like tracking every, unless you're a guy that's into that, but like I don't have to track every arrow. I just need to roll and be like, and maybe it's at the end of combat too. Like I'm not sure
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
when they do it, but like that's how it works. And I'm like, well, that's kind of neat. Like it's a mechanical way, but you can also be narrative with it too. Like your rations, you're like, you could be day one. Say you have a D6 worth of rations. Day one into your journey, you go to eat, you roll your die, and you pooch it. Well, that son of a bitch back in town that sold me the rations, they were all
Yeah.
rotten. Like he was
Yeah.
just giving me his crap,
yeah,
like if I ever get back there, I'm gonna fist that guy, and
I like that.
you can play around with it.
I like that a lot, especially for rations and water and stuff, because it's not bookkeeping. It's kind of its own game, and there's a gambling aspect
yeah.
to it. Like,
Yeah.
do we really want to buy all the way up to a D8? We're only going a couple of days.
Well, and I like it too with like the in other systems where like Dragonbane or even like Shadow Dark, where like like in Dragonbane, 4 rations take a gear slot. So you have to have rations, but you also like crap, like I can't carry infinite amount of rations. I can carry a lot, but I'm not carrying anything else. And then it also, in turn, what that does is it makes other aspects of the game more interesting. Like in Dragonbane, or even in Forbidden Lands, you can go and hunt and get food, but that food is only good for like typically one meal, unless you have somebody in the party that has the cooking skill. And then he
Mhm.
can actually turn rations into it, and then you can get a die back. Or another thing they do is, say I have a D12 in rations and you pooch your roll and you have nothing. Well, I can drop down to a D10 and now you have a D6 because I gave you some of my stuff, So I don't know. I kind of like that system, or a blend of the two, because I like that those games, like I think the Free League games are really good at making other skills and other classes important.
Mhm.
The first Dragonbane game campaign I played in, we had one player that she played a crafts or artisan, and most people, like typical D&D player, would probably never take that class because it's like, oh, I'm not throwing down spells and I'm not a super bad, but like, oh, we killed this monster and now you just made armor out of it that does like half its damage
Yeah.
reduction. Like, awesome.
Cool.
Or I mean, we were stuck on a little like sandbar at the beginning of it, and we rolled randomly to see what washed up on shore, and it was a crate full of lumber. and she made a raft so we could get to the big island. Like, we'd have been there forever if it wasn't for her. Like, we did nothing,
cool.
like nothing. I was fighting off
Cool.
water monsters with a plank, so like we started with nothing and it just built up from there. So I
That's
think
cool,
that
yeah.
stuff's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we got to give Forbidden Lands a go at some point. Got to do that.
Yeah, I'd like
Yeah.
to. It's one of the, it's on the bucket list because it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
really cool game. And I mean, if you're into, I would say, like, if anybody isn't, I would say if you're into a game that is more about exploration and resource management, play Forbidden Lands. If you want to play a game that has elements of that in it, but it's not more of its focus, play Dragonbane. And both are great
Interesting.
games. I mean, I've never played Forbidden Lands, but like I've
Yeah.
played Forbidden Lands is basically Mutiny Zero, but fantasy. Like,
Cool.
in my
Sure.
opinion.
Sure.
And I had
yeah.
a blast
I'm-
playing Mutiny Zero.
I'm using that die reduction system for when they go to salvage stuff. Like, they have a big rubble heap and they've got like a metal statue that they can be tearing down for metal parts. It's at a D6 and they roll. If it's a 1, 2, or 3, it goes down to a D4. But it's a very similar. It only happens during downtime and it only happens between sessions. But same mechanic, because it is great because you really don't know when it's going to disappear, how long it's going to
Yeah, and I
last.
mean, you have the randomness of the dice. So it's like, you could be thinking, I'm doing great
Yeah.
things here. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, crap. And then because they give you the tools to like deal with it, it makes it part of the game too. Like, oh, now our focus is shifted. We need to find food. Like,
Mhm.
we are not going to do well without food. So we need food.
Yeah.
We need water. We need ammunition for, where maybe you're in a, because things are very tough. Like, adversaries are very tough in like the Forbidden Lands and Dragonbane. You're like, we're down on supplies. Like, we've been getting our butt kicked, or we've been running from battles or whatever. Maybe I lost some stuff fleeing from that fight. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty good.
Twilight
Yeah.
2000
Does a
has
pretty
a
good job with
similar
everything.
mechanic. Is that the whole point of Twilight 2K is that you're cut off from the army, the larger army. You're a small unit and you may not even be military. You're just a small group of survivors. So everywhere you go, there's areas that are irradiated that you cannot go to. Everything's dead and blown up, so you're constantly scavenging for food, potable water, and ammunition. So basically, the exact same thing, just in a different setting.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, again, we've talked about Free League, but that's one of the great strengths about their games is there may be subtle differences like between the games, but there's an overarching theme of mechanics that is really good, and they pretty much nail it with every
one of the best uses
I've
I
played.
saw from that actually was from their Alien RPG. In the first scenario, there's like spore infected air in this ship, and your oxygen tank is a roll down die. So if you do anything after a certain amount of time, or if you have to exert yourself, you roll to see if your oxygen tank is clicking down on the thing and whether you got to open it up and breathe those spores in.
That'll make you sweat.
Pretty exciting. Yeah. It was good.
Yeah, that's cool stuff. Yeah, neat. Cool. Well, what else? Anybody else got anything else on downtime?
I don't think so.
I think we covered a lot of downtime ground and some
a lot of other stuff
and some video game stuff.
I think the final score
over,
was Edgelord King for the number of tangents he was able to inspire in the conversation.
Don't give it to him.
Congratulations.
I was able to pull it back into the topic at hand.
You did.
Yeah, so that maybe that's only a half a point then. I don't know.
Yeah.
Still 1.5 to 1. Sorry, better luck next time, Paul.
Yeah, that computer thing was
didn't it?
Oh my God. Like we were 5 or 10 minutes into like being back on topic, and the chat was still going off about Commodore 64s and all sorts of stuff. I was like, I was watching it roll in, and they're trying to draw us back in.
We're gonna have to do an old video game thing. I pinned Death Angel's thing here. This way, I don't have to say it. I can just pop his comment.
Yeah.
No,
thanks for that.
No evil. No, thank you, evil.
So guys, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Click the click the notification things to get notifications. We stream every week at on Tuesdays at 6. Yeah, good times. So click those buttons. Just gently click them. Don't smash them. A lot of places they want you to like bang on your keyboard with a hammer or something, but
Yeah, don't smash your
don't
keyboard.
don't smash the keyboard. Don't smash the like button. Just a little gentle
Gently,
click. Just
a little
click.
click.
That's it. That's it. So that's all we're looking for. If you hit it too hard, you might, click it and then unclick it,
Mhm.
So yeah, Edgelord, thank you. But yeah, so we'll be back next Tuesday with something where we'll definitely be on topic. Probably not. And we're gonna talk with Don and see how he's doing, and we'll set that up probably for a couple weeks from now. We'll give him some time to recover. But yeah, so as always, everybody take care. Thanks for stopping by. It's good to see everybody. The chat was lively. It's fantastic to hear all of your guys' thoughts and ideas and everything, and you guys too. But so we'll see you guys next week. All
Thanks,
right, take care, everybody.
See y'all.
Bye.